People want to go online and check out their friends. So why not build a website that offers that? Friends, pictures, profiles, whatever you can visit, browse around. Maybe it's someone you just met at a party. Eduardo, I'm not talking about a dating site. I'm talking about taking the entire social experience of college and putting it online. I'm Austin Johnson,
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
and this is Filmgazm. Today, we continue our top 10 films of the 2010 series with my number 4 and Adam's number 1, The Social Network. Adam, how does it feel to finally arrive at your number 1, your favorite movie of the decade?
Man, it's honestly mixed feelings because this has been such a fun project to do.
Yeah.
That I'm like, man, this is weird. Like that this is kind of coming to an end. We've been doing this for the last few months. It's like something I kind of look forward to every weekend. It's like, oh, I'll catch up on these. Like, I'm generally watching a movie I really love. Like I have a reason to watch this like thing I really love. And then when it comes to this, it's like, oh, also visit some of Fincher's other work because it's like I really love Fincher. So, yeah, bittersweet, but it's really cool to kind of get to the first number 1 of the thing, right? So y'all have matching ones. So that's obviously next week.
Yeah,
it's really cool to get to the first number 1 of our 3 lists. So yeah, very exciting.
yeah. Number 1. Whiplash is going to be next week. That's Connor and I are number 1. We'll do sort of a recap of kind of everything we've done here because it has spanned 4 months. It's been a jaunt to say the least. But I've enjoyed every second of it. I echo what you said. You're just there's never been a week where I'm like, I gotta watch Sicario. It's been rewarding to rewatch them, talk about them, put it all out there, kind of document our favorite movies from the 2010s. But Social Network is a special one, obviously. I had it on my list at number 4, and any given day it could be higher. To me, it's the decade-defining movie of the 2010s. It has gotten better now because of how weird Facebook has gotten over the years. So everything's just kind of going for it. You got Fincher, you got Sorkin, you got a crazy cool cast, you got Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, all these amazing things. Everybody's batting 1,000%, and it just whips by. When I was watching, I forgot. I always forget. It's essentially under 2 hours. With the credits, I think it's like 119 minutes, 120 minutes, and it just goes by. And by the time you get to the end, you get to the party scene where the cocaine stuff happens, and then it just kind of like ends. And you're just that's it. Rashida Jones is like, yeah, you're trying too hard to be an asshole, and you're just left with these kind of little tidbits at the end. This is where Edwater is. This is where Mark is. This is where the Winklevi. All those things are told to you, and then it's over. But you're like, I don't have any complaints. Everything is just perfect. So, Connor, is this a movie you thought about for your top 10, or is it just kind of an outlier?
It's an outlier because every time I watch this, I don't know why I always forget how great it is. When I was putting my list together, I didn't even think about The Social Network. But now that I watched it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I love Ready Player One, but did it deserve? Should this have been there?
Yeah, I mean, we could say that about. I think next week one of the things we want to do is kind of shout out some movies that we all feel like should have been there, and I think we all feel the same way about Moneyball from 2011. Another Sorkin and Bennett Miller in that one, and I think that's really interesting. That like Social Network is a movie that you're like, you know what? But at that time, at that specific time when we did the episode, you went with something else.
Yeah, I've only seen it like 3 times. On this viewing, I did realize weirdly this has almost the exact same ending as Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I think it's a great movie, and I probably should have reconsidered it.
Yeah, well, there's the main difference. I'm like an avid rewatcher of some things. And I know you are too, Connor. But this is like you said. This is you've seen this 3 times. I don't even want to know how many times I've watched it. How many nights I've been inebriated and I put it on because it has that opening 8 to 15 minutes. That's just like, oh my god, like is this filmmaking at its finest? So I've seen it at least 50 times. I probably more. I don't really want to know the number, but Adam, I know you try to save your favorites, like maybe watch them once a year. Is that how you feel about this one?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not as much of a rewatcher, certainly as you are, Austin, but I don't even like really know exactly why that is, but I do like to savor things. I've always been like that. Like it bothers people sometimes in my life like crazy because it's like I can be like, oh, I really love this thing, like The Wire, right? For example, we've discussed this, Austin, how it's like I watch a season every like 2 years, essentially, and it's taking me
I can't imagine
like stretch to kind of get through it. But I love it's like I love this thing. I know it's there. It's like a fine wine that I'm saving. I mean, I don't drink, so I don't really know exactly what I'm talking about. But it seems like that's what people do. Like,
yeah, that's an analogy. Yeah.
It's like let's save it. Let's save it for like this like night that or this moment that's like really like yeah, and so that's how I feel. That's how I feel with this movie. But I have seen it a lot because I do watch it probably every year. So it's been out for 13 years now, and there have been times where I watch it more often than that. I have read the book, which I know we want to talk about a little bit about. That is based off of. I think I'm the only one of the three that is.
The Accidental Billionaires. Yeah, I've read some of it, but not all of it. Mostly because the movie takes its liberties, and so I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'll just stick with that.
Yeah. It's another one of those
creates like characters for the movie. So
yes, it's another one of those where I watched the movie, realized it was based on a book, and then went and read the book. And to where the book adds to your love of it, then it does kind of take away from your love of the book. So I think that's a better way.
That's fair
to watch this stuff sometimes. Now
I've done that with Gone Girl and Fight Club. Like I watched the movie and went back and read the book. Yeah, so I hear you.
Yeah, it's additive. It adds detail rather than you're like, oh, what about this thing? What about this thing? So, but no, it was my number one, and I didn't even have to think about it really. Like the second you talked about doing this project, it was like, this is gonna be my favorite movie of the decade. I think it's both my favorite. It might be the best, and it's also possibly the most important. All kind of rolled into one. So the best is obviously debatable, but yeah, I think it's like right up there. It's like it'd be hard to deny this being one of the best. I definitely think it's my favorite. And again, I think it's possible it's like the most important or about the most important thing in kind of recent history.
Yeah. I agree that I do think it's the decade defining movie. I think it is the one. If you're gonna show someone one movie from the 2010s, that's like an American production. This is it. Like this is the movie. Again, like everybody's just like out of their mind, like good in it. Everybody brought their best stuff, and it's one of those like you and I saw in theaters together, Adam, and it was like it's like one of those things where it was super hyped up because of who was behind it, like what it's about, all these things. Has this not absurd budget, but it has a real budget. It has real stakes to it, and when you saw it, it more than delivered. It made a ton of money. It got 8 Oscar nominations, 3 wins, should have been more, right? But it delivered. It delivered and it still delivers. 13 years later, it's just, to me, it's better than when it came out. Because again, because of that like valuation that Facebook has and how much weird shit Mark Zuckerberg has just been a part of for the past 13 years.
Well, and not just Mark Zuckerberg, but the people in the movie.
Oh yeah, Eisenberg, Army Hammer. Yeah.
Yes.
Army fucking Hammer. I mean, yeah, the trajectory of so many of these guys' careers, like I think Eisenberg has kind of stayed and like he's done some cool stuff, one for me, one for you type thing. But like Garfield is like one of the most talented guys we have in the world, like right now. Rooney Mara is one of the more talented women we have. So I love this movie to death. So I knew you would have it number one, Adam. Like I've never really questioned that. I would even say how much I know you. Like if Social Network's up here, like number one at the top, and Get Out's your number two. Get Out's like pretty far back.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah.
I didn't even think. I said I didn't even think about it. Like the second you guys asked me to do this project, I said I started with that. I looked at all my 5-star movies on Letterboxd and said, figure out how many there were. I was like, well, I know Social Network's gonna be number one. The rest I can figure out later.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. I'm sure Connor does too about Whiplash. It's like hard to even articulate. We'll get to that next week. But we do have a very cool thing set up for this. We're getting down to the wire here. Last week we did the Paul Thomas Anderson Character Hall of Fame. Today we want to do something really special, something we've never really done. This is the most kind of in detail thing we've done as far as a draft goes. So we're going to do that here in a minute. I'll explain kind of the rules. Then we'll do, our awards for our award categories for the Social Network, and that'll also be a draft format. So if you want to hear Social Network stuff, bear with us because we got a Fincher draft to get to. This is a guy that all three of us are on board. Like he is of the past 30 years, like one of the most important American filmmakers. He's incredible. I mean, to me, I still like. I think Social Network is probably like his best, whatever, most important. I still think Zodiac is like my favorite movie that he's done. It's just so hard to argue with just the balls that movie took to make in 2007. So that's been my favorite for a long time. It's gonna be hard to top it. Obviously, Fight Club, Seven, The Game, Panic Room, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Mank. Like all these movies are so awesome. We're all huge fans. But what is Connor? I want to throw it to you because obviously Adam and I are huge social guys. What is to you the quintessential masterpiece Fincher movie?
Before I answer that, I got to get this off my chest. On this viewing of the Social Network, I noticed there's a scene where Zuckerberg is wearing an Arm & Hammer chair or shirt, and I about lost my fucking mind.
It's when he's getting blasted by Wardo. Yeah,
beautiful. Anyway, okay, quintessential Fincher. I'm with you. It's Zodiac. That film is impossible.
Yeah,
you can't make a movie about a serial killer that was never caught, but Fincher did it. And he made it scary, compelling, unforgettable, tense, and brilliant. And every time I watch it, I get freaked out. I keep thinking like somehow Zodiac's going to get me, even though he's probably dead. And I'm amazed by how effective that movie is every time I watch it. No contest.
Yeah. I watched, leading up to this episode, I watched Gone Girl, Fight Club, Zodiac, and Social Network. I hadn't seen Gone Girl in probably a couple years. I watch Zodiac like twice a year. It's just one of those. Like, I watched it like last November. I watched it then this past week. I'm gonna watch it again probably in November because it's like my favorite November movie. I don't know why. It just feels right. The weather in Texas is like a little cold. I don't know. I don't really know why. I think you guys might understand what I'm saying.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Zodiac just. Yeah. It does that thing too. I mean, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a long one.
It is.
But I don't care. Like I don't care. I feel like I'm learning a lot. I feel like I'm watching some of the best stuff I've ever seen. One of the best movies from the 2000s for sure. And I do that thing because it does the episodic thing where it shows the date of like, okay, August 10th, 1969 or whatever, July 4th, that initial shooting with Hurdy-Gurdy Man playing. Every time that happens, and like say I like look down and grab something and I see the date, I'm like, I like rewind it, make sure I know what date it is, even though it doesn't really matter. I like pause it. I'm like, all right. So it's October 1971. Like this is how many killings. I end up taking 5 hours to watch the motherfucker because I'm like rewinding. Oh wait, what? What did he say there? It's one of those things where I feel like so immersed into it, and I care. Yes. I care way more about what's happening on that TV than like anything in my life. Like there could be like the Super Bowl could be going on. The NBA Finals could be going on. And as much as I love sports, I'm like, yeah, but like Zodiac's on. I can't explain it. It's one of the best. It's definitely my favorite Fincher. And Adam, you texted me, I think last night, and you said this might be my favorite movie ever.
Yeah. I genuinely think it is. It's like if someone I don't like choosing like just one. I don't have like just one. But if someone like made me, that's like, hey, this kind of explains your taste the most. Like I would say that. And yeah, I watched it last night and I was just like, man, I mean, I don't even want to like, almost like I'm afraid to even like talk a little bit about it. Cause like, I'll just want to just go about Zodiac forever.
It's one of those. Yeah.
I better not say a lot, but no, I think Austin, you're spot on about the mood setting, and Connor too, about like, you're almost like, yeah, like, am I okay here? Like, am I okay? Am I like very like comfortable house? You know what I mean? It's really insane. And it's things that happened, 50 odd years ago. It spans so much time. There's so many unique characters. There's so many, it's like, why is this so good? Like this has no business being this good. It doesn't it doesn't wrap it up in a pretty bow. It draws some conclusions, I guess you could say, but like, not really. I mean, it's, the score. I think, Austin, your point about like you almost like want to take notes. It's almost like you're trying to solve the mystery with Robert Graysmith the entire time. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. Yeah, you're Paul Avery, and then you're Robert Graysmith. Like
yes.
Like it. I can't explain.
Brilliant. It is brilliant. Like
I'll say less than a year from now we're gonna do a big 2000s thing, and Zodiac will be on that, and we will do like a massive episode for that movie. And that's probably the place where we'll do like a more in-depth Fincher thing, because I know we all love him, but like this draft
Yeah,
is
we gotta get to it.
genius.
We got to get to it.
Last week we talked about it. We were all like, man, what should we do like for social? Like, we don't want to do just a like flat episode. We like on just social. We want to like really do something fun here. You know, like we're getting to the end of this project, so let's fucking blow it up. So you guys know the rules, but to explain to the listeners, we are doing a David Fincher directed movie draft by casting. So it's kind of complicated, but not really, especially if you're a nerd like us, where you just like picking actors that to be in a David Fincher movie. So the rules are you cannot pick anybody who's appeared in a David Fincher film before. Obviously we're all you know, big fans. If one of us does make a mistake and we're like, hey man, that guy was in this movie, we'll call it out on each other. And we'll fix it, because I got a big pool of motherfuckers here. I wrote down 25 people, so like I'm good. I'm safe. I got plenty of people to choose from. But I think we're all gonna be good. I think we know our stuff. We each have 7 slots. So what we're gonna do is I randomized it. Connor, you have the first pick. Adam, you have the second pick. I have the third. We'll do Snake, so I'll be on the turn. Once we pick our 7 people, we know Fincher's the director, so we know kind of like, all right, this is gonna be kind of, you know, the tone of it. We know it's gonna be a good movie. We are all going to pick a screenwriter, and then we're gonna do like a little mini pitch. We're gonna each choose kind of like a setting, whatever story. None of us know what our pitches are, so
Nope.
no, and nobody knows who we're picking. So like this is all live. This is fuck it, we'll do it live. This is all. No one knows what's going on here. So we each have our own pitch. Hell, we could have the same pitch. Who knows? Right?
Good.
I'd be blown away if y'all.
I've got a feeling. Yeah, I've got a feeling y'all do not have my pitch.
Yeah, same here. Which is good. We're trying to create 3 individual movies that David Fincher could potentially direct. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but we're going for it. And by picking a screenwriter, what?
To be clear, we can't. You can't have the same writer. So the writers are part of the draft, right?
Yes. So I was thinking, if you guys want to do this, I don't know if you want to wait till the end to pick the writers, or should the writers be picked whenever?
The end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means
mine's very contingent on getting a few people for my cast. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's fair. Wow. Well, that puts a little pressure on you there.
It sure does.
What I tried to do was create a pitch to where if I just pick 7 cool people, I'm good.
Yeah, mine's a little specific, so I'm worried.
All right. Well, if you guys are ready, I'm fucking ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Y'all want to dive in?
Let's do it.
Connor, first pick on the clock. You have 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
I do not need 30 seconds. So it may just be because I've been watching a lot of Breaking Bad lately, but I would like Mr. Bryan Cranston.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
I didn't think about him. I like that.
I did. See, Connor, I love that. It's one of the reasons I love you. Cranston, it would be really cool for like this part of his career. Like if a movie, David Fincher, his new movie in 2024 starring Bryan Cranston would revitalize his career. It's been 10 years since Breaking Bad ended. It'd be really cool if he did something badass like that and work with a really cool director. So that's a great pick.
You know, it's funny. I'm not all that worried about Adam snaking some of my people, but Austin, I feel like at some point when we were both like 5 years old, we both tripped off a curb at the same time, and somehow some like mental link was created that we're both unaware of, but feel it at all times. I'm worried about.
Yeah, Cranston is on the back end of my list, so you're right. he's on the back end of my pool. I was telling Connor before we started recording. I was at work today taking a shit, and I just started just writing names down. I was just like, because I had initially like 10 people in mind. And I was like, I need more in case they get taken.
Yeah.
I got paranoid, like I'm fucking Robert Graysmith, running around the Bay Area. So Adam, you have the second pick.
Okay. We are doing only current like living like working actors, right?
Yeah, that's right. Good point. So we talked about this last week. It's got to be someone that's like working.
Okay.
Because we were gonna do like, you could choose Humphrey Bogart, but it's like no. Let's like make a realistic movie. That way you can like pitch it the right way. So you're picking someone who's like you want them now.
Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis. Are we good with that?
Come back. Let's fucking go.
Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis is my pick.
Jesus Christ. He wasn't on my mind because yes, he is retired. But hey, if Fincher was like, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, Scorsese got him out of retirement. Fincher could do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny boy. What do you think about playing a killer? Yeah, that'd be excellent. Okay, so DDL clearly it was on your mind from last week, I guess.
Was. It sure was.
And bring him on over. Okay, I'm excited to hear why you picked him. All right, I get 2 picks in a row. Again, I'm just kind of gonna have some fun here. My first pick's definitely gonna be Lakeith Stanfield. I think the guy has tremendous talent, and I want to see him work with the people I love. So I'll go with Lakeith for my first pick. My second pick, I'm gonna go with who I think is probably the most talented woman on the planet right now. I'm gonna go Viola Davis.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So Viola and Lakeith are my first 2 picks. Adam, back to you whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. There's one that I think I can save. There's one that I think I can't. Oh man.
You never know. You never know.
Okay. Okay. I better grab this guy now because this is key to my thing. Okay, give me Colin Farrell.
Oh,
Yeah, he's on mine. Yeah, he's on my list.
Give me Colin Farrell.
Good pick. I didn't even think about Colin Farrell.
I feel like he'd be great with Fincher.
Yeah.
Or a fucking nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on maybe when I'm getting Colin Farrell. Maybe that's the. I think he'd do well.
2005 Colin Farrell would have got kicked off the set.
No,
Phone booth or Banshees. There's a difference.
That would not have gone well. Yeah. So no, Colin Farrell for me. Colin Farrell for me. You guys see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I love Colin Farrell. Yeah, he's literally the 3rd person I wrote on my list. So yeah, good pick. I was definitely going to take him. Connor, you have 2 in a row.
Okay. Since I'm going to need a real sadistic bad guy, somebody who you believe would do the kind of shit that's going to happen in this story.
Bryan Cranston?
I have a couple bad guys. There's a bad guy, and then there's a worse guy, and that guy is Ray Fiennes.
Ooh.
Okay, I had him on mine. That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Ray Fiennes is a wonderful pick. You have another one. So you got Heisenberg and Voldemort in your team. All right.
Yep. And now I need Tammy Faye, Jessica Chastain.
Ooh.
I like that.
How Jessica Chastain hasn't worked with well, here's the reason, is because Fincher just doesn't do as many movies as he used to.
Yeah.
I went through every cast of every film he did to make sure, because I was like, it just makes sense. Like, why has she not worked with him? But she has. So
yeah. All right, I love Chastain's fantastic. That's you got a good 3. Adam, who's your 3rd person?
Okay. When you said one of the best, would you say you said Viola Davis is the best living?
Oh yeah,
actress. So I think this woman has a shot at that too. And I was torn between her and another person, but I wanted to.
Can I guess?
Yeah,
Olivia Colman.
No, but that's I thought about her. I thought long and hard about her. I actually. Olivia Colman, I wondered, she's unbelievably talented. So, but the fit, you'll see with my pitch, the fit wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense. But I think this person makes a little bit more sense, especially after seeing Mare of Easttown. So I'm gonna give me Kate Winslet.
Yeah, she's not it. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah,
I was just like, wait,
alarm bells went off for me too for a second there, but yeah, you're right.
I just assumed Kate Winslet, like 2000s, like she had to be.
So I thought about Kate Blanchett, but she was in.
Yeah. It'd be cool if we could not count Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
But just because, it'd be like, give me Blanchett. Okay, Kate Winslet, that's good. Okay, so Daniel Day-Lewis, Colin Farrell, Kate Winslet is your 3.
Yep.
Connor's got Cranston, Ray Fiennes, and Jessica Chastain. Okay. Yeah. You guys might be like, I feel like you guys are building an all-star cast, but I'm gonna start going kind of minor people, like hierarchy. So give me Glenn Powell.
Ooh, interesting.
Glenn Powell and Keke Palmer.
Oh, nice.
Keke
the tone
Palmer,
of
Glenn
yours
Powell.
is going to be interesting. The tone of yours is different than other Fincher, I think.
I need cool people, just like in Social Network. That's what I'm going for. You'll see. So Glenn Powell, Keke Palmer off the list. Adam, back to you with your 4th.
Okay. I think I might be safe with this guy, but I want to make sure. Has not been in like a million things yet. He's a younger guy, but rose to prominence for me, at least in a TV show. So give me Paul Mescal.
He's on my list. Good pick. Good pick. I was going to take him next round, so good shit.
Yeah,
he's great. You got some people from across the pond there, don't you?
Yes, I do, and you'll see why. You'll see why.
I love it. I love
Split
it.
the difference in nationalities so far, so you'll see why here. It's like,
Connor,
Hmm.
what do you got? 2 in a row.
I have Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Love that pick. Love that. I don't have him down, but that is he's excellent.
This is awesome. I'm getting everybody I wanted. This never happens.
The pool is so fucking huge.
I know, but with you two, it's not that huge. And then give me Stephanie Shu.
Oh, I like that pick a lot. All right, so you're going young there. I like that.
There's a reason.
Adam?
Which way to go?
Yeah, careful now. Tread lightly.
Okay, I need to make sure I get this woman, an up and comer, one of my favorites. And again, you'll see why here in a second. Give me Jessie Buckley.
Ooh, Jessie Buckley.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Jessie Buckley, superstar on the rise. Yeah. Paul and Jesse, give me like a nasty romantic drama with those two. Give me that. Give me something that's like 3 hours when I feel like I want to like run through a wall afterwards. That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, you guys are going nowhere near what I was doing. Next up, I'm gonna go Benny Safdie.
Oh, I like it.
Benny Safdie, who has he's familiar with working with the likes of a little guy named Paul Thomas Anderson and Christopher Nolan, and of course his brother Josh, working with Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems, and Robert Pattinson, Good Time. Love the guy. I want people that don't need to be on the screen too much, and Benny's good at that. Let's see. So I got 2 people left, but I have 1 pick now, 1 for the end. I'm gonna go with another guy who just knows movies. I've seen him do some stuff, but I think this would be like a career-defining role for him. Give me Bill Hader.
Ooh,
love it.
Interesting. I like that.
Adam, you got 2 more, but 1 pick right now, and then Connor's got his last 2.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm now at the point now where it's like I have a group of 5, and I'm only gonna get 2 of them, and I'm like devastated. I'm only gonna get 2 of these people because they all would be perfect in this movie, like absolutely perfect. And they're a little bit more supporting than the other person I'm choosing between. Dang, man. Which of these 2 do I want the most? Okay, give me Stephen Graham.
Fuck you.
That is so sick. Yeah. Oh, Stephen Graham, where have you been, my friend?
Stephen Graham. Yeah.
Connor, have you seen The Damned United? Connor?
I have not. I know about it. I have not watched that yet.
Oh man, that would
have y'all seen Boiling Point?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's excellent in that. I watched that because of you guys. You and Colton.
Foodgasm, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Foodgasm. Did some great stuff. Ratatouille's a hilarious episode. Waiting's a hilarious episode. Check those out. Okay, Stephen Graham is an excellent pick. I love that. Connor, you have 2 left, and you're done.
Okay,
you're getting your 7, aren't you?
I'm getting my 7. No worries, which is good because I had no backups, so this worked out well.
You're like Jack White, who plays with only 1 pick. And he's like, if I lose my pick, I just gotta fucking go with it.
Wait, you only wrote down 7 names.
I did.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I wrote down 12.
I wrote down 5, and then last night you guys were like, let's do 7, and I was like, okay, so I had to change it slightly for 7 people. So these 2 guys are last minute additions, but I fit them in quite nicely. First off, give me Kieran Hines.
Oh, damn you. Okay, all right. Well, that's okay. I got a good backup.
Oh God, I stole. That's great.
The first real steal.
I had Ray Fiennes on mine too, but I wasn't probably going to go with him, so that was fine. But no, Kieran Hines. That was one of my last.
Shit.
That's good. That's a good pick.
And then give me Ben Mendelsohn.
Nice.
Oh, he'd be great in a Fincher movie.
Yes,
great in a Fincher movie.
Yeah. I mean, this is wonderful. I love your cast. I can't wait to hear what those people are doing. Adam, last pick.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I've got 3. I've got 3 to choose from here. I've got to be able to say these names afterwards if I don't get them right. Like we got to at least give a shout out. Like, here's the other 2 people I would have put in this.
I've got still have 20.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could come up with a lot more, but I have two specifically that I really do want. I'm kind of torn between Austin, your strategy of like being a little bit of a hierarchy and not getting just like tons and tons of stars, or just like getting the guy that like would just make this kind of perfect.
Go for it. Do it up.
Yeah, give me Cillian Murphy.
Yep. Beautiful.
You guys are Connor. Adam's budget is gonna get dicey there. Some of those.
My guys are mostly kind of cheap. You could afford my guys.
Yeah, but like not like crazy. I mean, you know, DDL. You know, I mean, I'm sure is going to command a.
Colin Farrell is known for wanting a pretty penny.
Colin Farrell too. But like, I think you know,
Stephen Graham is like, I'll do it for pennies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can give me a pint after and we're good.
Well, especially when he sees the other people that are going to be in this, and then when he sees them bout, he's going to be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Okay. I love that. To see DDL and Murphy together would be a dream. Okay. All right. My last pick. Yeah. See, there's obviously a lot of ways to go, but there's someone we always talk about. He got brought up a bunch last week on our Master episode. One of my favorite actors right now. That's Jesse Plemons.
Yeah. Good one.
Jesse Plemons, the dog. Yeah. I just think he could fit in any era, any time, could like act with anybody. So also a guy who's like, give me 10 minutes and I got you. You know, he'll just give me 10, 15 minutes of screen time and I'm good. Or you can give me the whole 2 hours. You know, one of those dudes. All right. So we all have our 7. Adam, give me your honorable mentions or your people you almost picked.
The 2 that I really wanted in this, well, Ciarán Hinds was one, but the other 2 I really wanted in this that like I just couldn't quite fit were Mark Strong and Brendan Gleeson.
Ooh, yeah, Mark Strong. That's a good one. Definitely a guy who's been on the mind lately. The guy, you know, Connor, the guy I almost took a couple times that I think would have been cool. I think you would have liked is Jackie Earle Haley.
Oh, I fucking love Jackie Earle Haley. He's never gotten the credit he deserves for. No,
not at all. I was between him, Sterling K. Brown for sure, John Bernthal because he can do anything.
Yeah,
and he's worked with like so many amazing directors. Adam Driver, I thought about Paul Dano, Olivia Colman, Ethan Hawke, Jamie Foxx, Vanessa Kirby, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe. I wrote down Nicholas Hoult. There's tons of people that I think would be fun because I thought more of them would get taken by y'all, but y'all clearly had like a streamline. Y'all ready. So, all right. Connor, we'll let you start. You got Bryan Cranston, Ray Fiennes, Jessica Chastain, Chiwetel. How do you say it? Ejiofor?
Ejiofor.
Chiwetel is easy. The last name's not. Stephanie Hsu, Ciarán Hinds, and Ben Mendelsohn. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Give me your writer and explain what this movie is.
First off, I am kind of amazed none of us picked Dafoe.
Yeah, Dafoe. Yeah. Trust me, I thought about it. I wanted to go young, like a little younger, except for Viola. I wanted her to be the veteran in the room.
Okay. Well, my writer is he's a writer-director who's accomplished quite a bit lately. Matt Reeves.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love his vision for Batman, and I think that you apply that kind of noir crime thriller style with Fincher's direction, and you've got something really special.
So I love that for a few reasons, because Matt Reeves fucking rules. He's made some of the best blockbusters of the past 10 years.
Yeah.
He also has an insane knowledge of noir, of like thrillers of the past, and has I've heard him speak about Fincher's movies, and he has like a clear respect. So that's, of course, like if you can get a guy who respects Fincher but also can handle his bullshit, then you have a meeting of the minds. And I would hope it works out. So where are we going? What's the setting? And what's this movie going to be about?
So this is going to take place probably somewhere like New York, a big city with a lot of various crime family factions with their own stake in what's happening here.
Maybe Gotham.
Yeah, you could say Gotham. I'm not pitching a Batman movie, I promise.
Steven Fincher's Batman.
So
that would be sick.
It would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You don't get me started. Take this cast here and create a Batman movie. You could do that.
Well, is Matt Reeves the Batman so far from Seven? You know, like, is it really? It's not. So
Yeah.
you got Jeffrey Wright, you know, as the Morgan Freeman character. You got Batman as kind of like the Brad Pitt new guy coming in doing his thing, and you got like nasty, vicious stuff from Paul Dano as the Riddler. Kind of similar, yeah.
Yeah, they would work. They clearly would work well together.
So big city. Or you do have like a decade in mind, an era?
Modern. Actually, no, I could see this working better in like the 80s.
Okay.
80s or 90s. Like maybe like 89, 91, around that area. So Stephanie Hsu is playing a recovering addict / prostitute who is being urged by the feds to roll on her former pimp, played by Bryan Cranston.
Oh. Yes.
This pimp was in with an Irish family and knows a lot about a certain gangster, and he is asking for, well, he's got a big mouth. He won't shut up about, you know, I'm untouchable because of what I know. And she is the weak link. So the feds, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor and Jessica Chastain,
yes. Yes.
have been brought in to find her, protect her, and get her to roll on Cranston. However, the mob sees Cranston as a loose end, and so they hire a elusive, very dangerous killer, played by Ralph Fiennes, to hunt him down, kill him, kill Stephanie Hsu, and if the feds get too close, kill them too. Just clean up anybody who knows anything about this. And what this is not here, because I got to save something for the producers here. Kieran Hines plays the head of the Irish family, who is I'm thinking there's like a pregnancy involved with Stephanie Hsu, some kind of thing, and he hires Ben Mendelsohn to hunt down Ralph Fiennes, and he has to protect the feds and basically there's a cat and mouse game between Ben Mendelsohn and Ralph Fiennes, with the feds and Stephanie Hsu caught in the middle, and then this pimp who's causing all of this fucking strife. And of course it ends with, you know, blood and disappointment and death, and, you know, you never really know people and all that typical David Fincher stuff.
Yeah.
No happy endings in Fincher's universe. It's just blood and pain. And yeah.
I love it. I can see it. I love my favorite aspect is definitely Chiwetel and Jessica Chastain as feds. Yeah. I can see it like so clearly, you know. One of them, like Jessica Chastain's trying to quit smoking, and he's like, you know, she's making fun of her for it. Animal crackers? Yeah.
Animal crackers. I know, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. I love that. I love that a lot. All right, so that's 80s big city. Connor's crime story there. I love Stephanie and Bryan Cranston. I would love to see them on screen together for sure. Cranston as a pimp is excellent. I am the pimp who knocks. Oh, it's so good. I love that. Good shit, man. I love that. I'd love to see you maybe put the pen to paper on that one.
Maybe it's a cool story. I might, you know, I've been known to write. I may write that.
and next time you run into Jessica Chastain, be like, hey, pass this on. Oh man, good stuff. All right. I like it. So your writer is Matt Reeves, director Fincher. Okay, Adam, who's your writer? Where are we going? What's this about?
Mark McDonough is my writer.
I had a feeling
man,
we were going
you guys went with like freaks. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once you saw my cast, so you talked about Willem Dafoe. I thought about him, but I ended up having no Americans. It was all English.
Yeah.
Or Irish. English or Irish was what I was going for, because my thing is going to be set in the late 60s and early 70s, England, Ireland, and Northern Ireland around Bloody Sunday, and the conflict between the IRA, the British Army, and DDL will be part of the British Army, kind of a villain, as you can say in this story. Colin Farrell will be, I imagine, somewhat involved in the IRA. There'll be a Jesse Buckley, kind of like young leader, a kind of an uprising group among kind of young Irish people, and really either on the other side of the line. Haven't really decided yet either. Stephen Graham is just going to kind of be there to kind of just cause some havoc. Cillian Murphy is going to be probably kind of like maybe like a co-lead with Colin Farrell, or maybe like a differing opinion from Colin Farrell in the kind of Irish, the Troubles, as they call it. So I just think this setting, that 70s, I mean, he nails the 70s in San Francisco in Zodiac. So I think having Fincher kind of take on the 70s in Ireland and England, and Northern Ireland would be really, really cool. And Martin McDonagh, obviously, he's an English writer, but has a bunch of, obviously stories with set, with Irish cast or in Ireland and Irish ideas. So I don't know. Like the more I thought about this, like it crystallized my mind. It's like this could get greenlit like now. Like it's like this would be an absolute just like home run. I think I don't know how they could miss on this. So would be really, really cool. I mean, it'd be dark. Obviously it'd be
yeah, pretty... but funny because Martin's got that wit.
Right. And I think the balance of the two would be really interesting. I think there could be some funny moments kind of within, almost some gallows humor, as it were, a line that Cillian Murphy uses in Oppenheimer. And so, yeah, I think that's what I went with. And I don't know. I just like the more I thought about it, crystallized. I just thought this would be absolutely perfect. And the cast lined up perfectly. The only guy that I wish I could have gotten is Ciarán Hinds. That would have been a nice little addition. But I'm happy that I ended up getting Stephen Graham, Jesse Buckley, some of the younger ones in there. So no, I think this would be really cool.
So this is kind of a fictional, non-fictional, like set in a fictional time period era non-fiction, but with fictional characters.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, almost like composite characters. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
they're obviously
kind of like Social Network.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, some composite characters. Probably even more so than Social Network. Because I don't think I have any, like real names and things like that. But no, I mean, I think for anyone who doesn't know what the Bloody Sunday conflict is, Google it. I mean, I think it's brutal. I mean, there's obviously the great U2 song, that came out of it, but
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
Yeah, but
it's a good song. It's a good song.
It is a great song. Yeah, but it's a really complex. It's a really complex time in history in that part of the world. I think it'd be it's ripe for a really cool, like almost like, kind of intense, dark telling of it. Is
there so you're going like late 60s, early 70s. Is there any time jumping or any map jumping, or are you kind of staying in one place, do you think?
I mean, it would cover those three nations. I mean, I'd probably stick in those three places, and they probably covered like the whole little period. So like, I'd probably use like Bloody Sunday, which happened in 1972, right in the middle. So it's kind of like as 69, like 75. Kind of like a 6 or 7 year window.
Perfect.
And that'd be right in the middle of it.
Perfect. I love that. No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Marty Mack and David Finch. Yeah, I'd like to see if they'd work together well. I think it'd be really cool. Good amount of like dark humor, but also both guys who love their violence. So could work out really well. I certainly went a way different route. I'm taking a shot. I want to give a writer a shot that like hasn't really done much. So I want to hire Shaka King, writer director of Judas and the Black Messiah. Hasn't really done much else. Kind of a guy who I think would be a complete wild card with Fincher, which I think has worked out a lot in Fincher's career. Things that are just kind of like the perfect alignment. Like certain things happen in Fincher's career. They're like, wow, how did that work out? But it did. You guys definitely went with some pretty proven guys that have multiple awesome movies. So definitely taking a risk here, and I'm taking a risk with my cast because some of them are not, necessarily box office people. So Lakeith, Viola, Glenn Powell, Keke Palmer, Benny Safdie, Bill Hader, Jesse Plemons. I'm going to have all of them be people who hang out at the Mayfair Club. The Mayfair Club is a game hall in New York City that closed down in 2000. The Chesterfield in Rounders is based off of the Mayfair Club. It's where a lot of people used to go to play poker. It closed down in 2000 because of, if you know your New York history, that bastard Rudy Giuliani started the Quality of Life campaign and shut down a lot of game halls all across New York City. So in 2000, it shut down abruptly. I would like to make a movie about the last few years of the Mayfair Club because it's a place I wish I could have gone to. I definitely read about it, and I've heard that it's a one of a kind kind of place. Where there was literally like in a basement, and you didn't have dealers, the players dealt themselves, but it was like super high stakes, super high quality players who would eventually go on to play World Series of Poker, They had a ton of people kind of like go out of there, and that's kind of like the idea behind Rounders is that Mike McD is like the next thing, right? So like if there was a Rounders 2, it would show Mike McD like moving on to Vegas. But I think it's like a fascinating time in New York. As far as politically, it's usually fascinating in New York no matter what. But I think specifically that time, I think Giuliani is a fascinating guy to kind of have in your movie. My cast would definitely be poker players or gamers. Obviously, Lakeith and Viola would be kind of like my main characters. Viola would be kind of like the lady who like knows everybody, but also is like is a big gamer and big schemer. Bill Hader would be the host. So when you go to the Mayfair Club, there's someone there who gives you your chips, shows you where the bar is, and that would be Bill Hader, the guy who's kind of like walking around like, hey, I know everybody. This is my fucking thing, So everybody else, Plemons, Safdie, Palmer, Powell, Davis, Stanfield, there would be a crucial scene where all of them are playing at the same table, and I would like to think that Shaka King and Fincher would try to like branch out and show all their individual lives, Magnolia style or Shortcut style, where you're kind of like, oh, this is how all their lives kind of intertwine because they all live in this giant city that's going through all these things. So, but the Mayfair Club would be the hub. That'd be where most of the movie's at, where the action's at. Nice long fucking tracking shots, similar to Brad Pitt walking in the Lou's Tavern with Tom Waits playing in the background. Lots of cool shit like that. Throw it back to like fun, like Fight Club style David Fincher. That's what I'm going for. So not so much like a murder mystery or whatever, like Zodiac, but kind of like a combination of Fight Club and Social Network. You got the comedy, you got the kind of like young cast that you have in Social Network, but these guys are some of my favorite people. So I'd be obviously be lining up at the door no matter who made a movie about the Mayfair Club. But if it were Fincher, I sure as hell would be there right away, right front and center. So that's what I went with.
Guys, I almost don't want to release this episode so these amazing pitches don't get snaked.
Yeah,
both you guys came up with some fucking killer stories that I want to see. Damn, guys.
When y'all were talking about making pictures of, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it. This is what we are all gearing up for the past couple of days for this episode. This is why we do it.
I knew, of course, you would come up with like Rounders and Magnolia combined into the same movie.
With some violence. Yeah, with some violence. Like Bill Hader gets the shit beat out of him one night, Jesse Plemons like, fuck you, bitch. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see Plemons and Safdie having kind of a rivalry where they're like, we're both kind of like the goofy guys that look kind of dopey, but like there can only be one of us, but they're both there. And of course, Safdie is like a New Yorker, like through and through. So I wanted him real bad. Glenn Powell at a poker table? Come on.
Motormouth Glenn Powell.
Yeah. That's another thing, right? Is one of the things that I would hope that gets like transferred over, especially when we're talking about Social Network, that just speed of light type screenplay that just boom, boom, boom. Like they don't shut the hell up. I would definitely want that from Shaka King. I'd want him to kind of bring that. And Shaka King, Judas and the Black Messiah does such a good job of capturing New York in a specific time and place. And I'm like, do that again, but 20 years later in a much different plot. I think I would like to see him do more. That movie fucking rules. I don't think people talk about it enough anymore. It's like 2 years old and it's already kind of
everything
gone.
That came out during that COVID window has pretty much just been forgotten.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's been like too associated with the damn virus.
And they all had those weird streaming service like releases, like they didn't get to have like the rollout, like I feel like Juice and Black Messiah is like wicked underrated. So I just wanted to bring a guy that not many people know about to my thing. The other guy I thought about, which is funny that you mentioned Matt Reeves. I was gonna go with Peter Craig, who helped write the Batman. He also wrote The Town. I love Peter Craig, and I would have loved to have him, but he's just got he's got a few too many that I'm like, no. Like he wrote a couple of the Hunger Games movies. I'm like, never mind. You don't
want that style thrown into your. No.
Correct. I love The Town, and I love to see kind of like a mixture of The Town and Fincher's take on something like that tone, that kind of story. But not Mockingjay.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Judas and the Black Messiah, I'm surprised nobody picked Daniel Kaluuya.
I was giving y'all to him. Yeah. Because I picked him last time. I picked him and Mahershala Ali. I was like, oh, they'll take him. Like those guys rule.
Well, Mahershala, I would have ruled out just no Americans. But no,
Kaluuya, but Yeah, be kind of tough to fit like a black storyline.
It's the era. Yeah, it's the era. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I know it's boxing with that a little bit. The one thing I did think about was like, it would be cool to kind of get, I mean, he'd have to be, on the kind of English side, and maybe just kind of like a side plot about like that, everything that kind of the black community was dealing with in England at the time. I don't know. Like, but that felt like maybe shoehorning in a little bit too much story.
Yeah. It makes me think of Empire of Light, which like tried to have its cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You got to commit to one of those two stories.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good call.
So I put him down initially, but then I was like, it doesn't quite fit. This doesn't quite fit.
He changes your whole course because he's like your best actor. Like, I mean, obviously you have Daniel Day-Lewis, but like as far as like right now, like hot, young, boom, like this guy's he's on the rise. Can you imagine Kaluuya and Day-Lewis? Like, oh my god,
yeah, insane, right? Yeah,
I'd lose my goddamn mind if
Apparently,
those two got
if you
to
want
be
to
together.
grow up to be one of the most talented actors working in the business, you better make sure your mom named you Daniel.
Yeah, and you're from a certain part of the world. Yeah. Good shit. This is an absolute blast. We need to do more things like this as its own episode, right? I think.
Well,
this is like
with what we talked about, that's coming.
Yeah, I want to start doing more shit like this that's not based around like a movie, but just like a fun little exercise, and like that can be the episode. We can get out of here, but we still have to talk about Social Network.
We do.
So, do you guys have anything else to say about these casts, about the movies, or do you want to move on?
I'm just very, very proud of y'all for making that so exciting.
I'm proud of the 21 people we chose.
Yeah,
these would be awesome movies. They really would.
Yeah,
I felt the same way about our heist movies.
Definitely,
when we did the supporting actor thing. Those were badass. We'll have to do more shit like this. It's an absolute blast. But for now, let's take a little break and then we'll talk Social Network.
Got to.
All right, Social Network. Adam's number 1. My number 4. Written by Aaron Sorkin, obviously directed by David Fincher. That's why we just did that giant draft. Based on The Accidental Billionaires by Ben Messer. $40 million budget, made $225 million at the box office. A big deal. That's great for a prestige drama. 3 wins at the 83rd Academy Awards on 8 nominations. 1 for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score, and Best Film Editing. Lost Best Picture famously. Jesse Eisenberg lost Best Actor to Colin Firth. He was the only one up for any of the performance categories. It's kind of one of those where you go back and you're like, damn. it's just so good. It's hard to kind of swallow that. That's why there's many people out there who think there's an argument that the Oscars should happen 5 years after the movies come out so they can breathe and become what they are. That'd be really hard to do. That'd be hard to do, and it's never going to happen. But I like that thought.
Yeah, at that point, like most of those movies, people are not going to be talking about anymore, which is
especially now.
Itself.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons Social Network is so special is because we still do talk about it. It still is so highly regarded 13 years later. And, I don't think there's a ton of, like kind of world renowned, like everyone agrees this is a masterpiece. This is one of the best movies. The Social Network does have that going for it. There's not a lot of 2010s movies that have that like definitive masterpiece quality. What do you think, Adam?
No, there's not. And I wonder if that's just the nature of how movies are both presented, received, and just because we have so many other things to kind of occupy.
Yeah.
Time. Like, is it harder to kind of like have something be canon so quickly? I think that's probably true. I think it probably is. It is harder. This one almost like to me, the subject matter is part of what makes it so like kind of iconic. It's like, hey, let's tell this story in the moment. So it was compared to All the President's Men, various like outlets at the time. And I think that's like a really good comparison. It's like this story that is like this thing that happened like pretty recently that's like incredibly, like important in like the nation's history. And then in Facebook's, obviously in Facebook's case, the world's history, that is going to kind of like have legs even after this. So I think that's part of the reason it will kind of stand the test of time forever. And it'll look back and it feels weirdly timeless. Like it feels like something that came out in 2007. Obviously would have to be after Facebook, so like 2006, I guess, like the earliest this could possibly, come out. But like it could have come out in 2006 or 2029, like it really does feel that way. Like it's like something that just like it is like from the future almost. And it looks futuristic at times, but then it also at times it looks very analog, that's like the genius of it. So no, I don't know if there are that many just kind of like, undisputed kind of like masterpieces in that decade. I struggle to find some.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons like this project has been fun, because we're not this 2010s thing. We're not trying to say like these are the 10 masterpieces. We're saying these are our 10 favorites. Yet Social Network is like the best of both worlds. Like it's
right.
All the President's Men to me is a great comparison, because it's the same thing. It's like, I think this is one of the best 70s movies, but I also have so much fun watching it. It is so like easy to rewatch and so much fun. The music's so good, the performances are so good, the writing is so good, and like you said, it's relevant. Especially in 1976. So
yeah,
and it continues to be relevant because that is still one of the craziest stories of the past 100 years in our country. So yeah, I'm with you. Like the whole what's the line where he's like, we lived in farms, we lived in cities, and now we're gonna live on the internet. Like that's more true now than it was 13 years ago. Like not even close. Like the whole like, oh yeah, it's evaluated at 25 billion. Now it's valued at like 300 billion.
Well, I know the line where he says, the Sean Parker character, but played really well by Justin Timberlake. He says, it's $1 million company is not cool. It's cool $1 billion, and that's supposed to like hit you really hard. But it's just like that number now is kind of just like,
yeah,
like, that's not that big a deal. Like $1 billion.
Yeah, that's like ground zero for a lot of like these companies. Like, oh, $1 billion or whatever. That's nothing. Yeah, that's cake. It's crazy. It's insane. Of course, we're gonna like get into some more details as we do our categories. 7.8 on IMDb. Fine, whatever. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Doesn't matter. Audience score of 87%. Whatever. 4.0 on Letterboxd. Also, I think is not right, but whatever. That's why we're here to talk about it. Who cares what all these people say? This is a movie we all truly care about. So I'm very, very curious to hear kind of where y'all's heart lies within this movie. Adam, me and you have had plenty of conversations about this, but Connor, correct me if I'm wrong. We have never talked about this movie in depth on a podcast ever.
We've skirted around it, we've teased it, but we've never lubed up and gone at it. So
no, we have not. We also have never done the King's Speech. We never did a Best Picture showdown.
I know. I keep being like reminded that I'm the guy who likes the King's Speech.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when we do a Best Picture showdown, we talk about all of the 2010 movies: True Grit,
I know,
127 Hours, Winter's Bone.
And I want to be clear about the King's Speech. King's Speech is good.
It's good.
Like
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's just like this is like in the moment it was like really like that over that, and that looks like way worse today than it does then. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
In the moment, I was actually like, I was like, yeah, of course. I was 15, but I was like, yeah, Social Network's sick. But also, like, we saw that in theaters with Dad, and I was like, that was a really good movie and felt very Oscar-y. And but and it was like whatever, like it felt like, oh yeah, sure, like this is what they do, like this is what the Oscars do. They're just gonna like give this like historical drama where like it's kind of sad, but also like inspiring, neat. But now it looks dumb as shit.
Yes.
It's like the Social Network is like, I mean, and not just the King's Speech. Everything at that ceremony is like, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't even touch it. Yeah. So King's Speech won. 127 Hours, Black Swan, The Fighter, Inception, The Kids Are All Right, The Social Network, Toy Story 3, True Grit, Winter's Bone. First off, way too many goddamn movies in that category. Some of those are like, really? The Kids Are All Right? Best Picture nominee? Crazy. I like it. 127 Hours? Like,
that's
for
crazy.
real? Like, Winter's Bone? Like, come on. Like, for me, if I'm picking out of these, the only ones that are surefire are Social Network, Toy Story 3, and that's about where my list ends, if I'm being honest with y'all.
I'm with you.
But at the time when the 2010 Oscars happened, I was not paying nearly enough attention to the cinematic landscape as I am now. I had only seen The King's Speech, Toy Story 3, True Grit, and Inception, and I did not fucking remember Inception. I was pulling for Toy Story 3. I was like, yeah.
I kind of was too, deep down, yeah.
At the time, like, I didn't give a shit about the Facebook movie. I didn't want to see that. I watched it a long time after that and, like, thought it was amazing. But at the time, I was like, I liked the King's Speech because George VI is inspirational.
Exactly.
I still pull for Colin Firth for Best Actor.
Ugh, I don't know, man.
I don't like Jesse Eisenberg. I don't like him.
Neither. I like him. I mean,
like,
obviously,
like period. Like,
I don't think he's a good actor. I think he plays the same fucking
no.
neurotic douchebag every single movie he's ever been in, even if he's playing Mark Zuckerberg. I'm sorry.
I love him.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm a fan. I definitely point to my three favorites are probably Adventureland, Social Network, and The Art of Self-Defense. Those are probably like my three favorite Eyzaguirre. All very different, all like awesome. I don't know what it is. I just like him. Like when I hear him talk, I'm like, this guy's cool as shit. Like he's like a sports guy, but also like super nerdy. Knows his movie history. I like him. I like the guy.
If you played me a clip from every movie he's been in and told me to identify the film, I don't know if I could do it immediately. If you played Zombieland and The Social Network next to each other, I don't know if I'd be able to tell who the character is.
I like Zombieland.
I do too. Not for him. I like it for everybody else.
Yeah, Zombieland's really good. Yeah, Adventureland is the one. Yeah, Adventureland and Social Network are the two that are like that stand out. For me for him. But yeah, I think we'll get into him. A little bit later. But I just think it's like you listen to those movies and you're like, man, one of these things is not like the other. Meaning, Social Network is the one that stays like it's like supremely more. I don't know, just like meaningful. I mean, I'm curious to say I didn't do any of this because I wanted to wait. You guys are gonna do this on the podcast, obviously, but reading negative reviews. I didn't really do any of that, but I'm gonna bet the majority of them are just kind of like the Facebook movie, that kind of like dumb. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, well, like you just don't, like, and then some will be they'll quibble with the historical inaccuracies, which are totally fair. They are plentiful in this.
They straight up just make people up. I'm cool with that. I don't really care. I'm not going to this to be like, this is the
historical record. This is the historical record.
I'm going to watch Sorkin and Fincher like tear through this mess. Yeah.
Not documentary.
And like I've seen A Few Good Men. I know it's going to be like over the top and like exaggerated and very Hollywoody. Like I know it's going to be like the Sean Parker with Amy. That scene is like, I mean, that's literally just to introduce him. Like that's that whole scene is built for her to be like, Sean Parker founded Napster, and he's like,
I like that scene though.
I think it's great. It's great movie making. It's like that movie magic. It's like dust. It's like fairy dust. It's not how real people talk. Like you just slept on Sean Parker.
I wish life was as witty as a Sorkin screenplay. That'd be amazing.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Every conversation would be life changing.
And Moneyball has many moments where it's like, all right, like baseball season's 162 games. Like not every moment is like, you hear that? That's what losing sounds like. Like I love that scene to death. Like when he fucking smashes the stereo. I'm just like, yeah, Brad Pitt, But like I'm like that's not how the GM isn't like going down there and being like, yeah, you listen up, fuckers. Like you like losing, it's not Remember the Titans, like that's not how it works. But Sorkin that's what he does. Like he makes like movie magic with his screenplays, and Social Network's no different. So I'm like okay with admitting that. I just think it with Fincher, like them two, because Sorkin was going to direct this, and I think it would have been a lot different movie. But with Fincher, it just works. Like it just works like magic. So you don't want to get into some categories? Talk about this thing.
Let's do it.
First pick, Adam. You have the first pick, and
all right.
What's great about that? This is like the gods, the movie gods looking down upon us, because if you have the first pick, you have the last pick. This is your number one movie. I feel like that's fitting.
Yeah, that's cool. No,
poetic justice. Connor, you have the second pick, and I have the third. So we'll do the same thing. Snake draft. Yep. Adam, pick whatever category you want. But favorite quote, favorite music moment, favorite performance, or favorite scene, whatever you want.
Man, where do I go? I mean, I'm actually.
Be careful, because wherever you go, you're about to open up like a huge door.
Well, I'm actually not stressed out about this draft at all, because it's like I have so many options for every category. So it's like I actually don't really care that much. I mean, I care, like there's things I do kind of like want. But I'll actually go with performance. Just because I think like we got to talk about this guy, and I'll go with Andrew Garfield.
Oh, damn it! Yeah. Well, Connor doesn't want Eisenberg, so I'm definitely going to get him.
Yeah. No, that did inform my pick just a little bit, knowing that. But no, I mean this is I believe the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah, it's his coming out party. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd seen him in anything before this. I had no idea that he was English. That was just I mean, just no clue until I like looked
even
it up and saw him in an interview.
even in the theater, you're like who's this like high schooler American guy?
Yeah,
and then you
genuinely, no idea.
And then like I think we saw this at Embassy, Adam, and like I remember when we left, like you were very much like, yeah, that was sick, and I was like, that was fun because I was familiar with like Fight Club and maybe Seven at that point, but the Fincher like adoration hadn't started yet quite. But then Dragon Tattoo comes out the next year. After that, I was like, I'm fucking in. Like if you can do Social and Dragon Tattoo back to back years, like, you got me.
Yeah, and so Garfield, I think, is just this perfect, mixture of like sweet but like intense, and I mean he has some just like he has some scenes in this movie that are just like, whoa, man. I mean, just like this, I actually don't know if he's done a whole lot like that since then. I mean, he in real life, I think, is just unbelievably like caring, thoughtful guy. Like you listen to him talk, and it's just like, yeah, what a good dude. But he goes a couple places in this movie that like he doesn't really go to in a lot of other stuff that he's been in since then. And it makes you think like he was going to maybe have a career as like this kind of like almost this like this kind of angry guy / like, I mean, able to kind of just like go all over the map. I mean, he is super talented. He's had a very interesting career since this movie, but I mean, he kind of just like burst onto the scene. It's like one of those like rookie seasons, like in sports, that are just like, oh my God, who is this guy? Like he's gonna be around for a long time.
I'm with you. I probably would have chosen him too with my first pick. So, especially knowing what Connor said, Garfield is the man. Eduardo Saverin, like, what a character. You look up this guy in real life, and it's one of those things where it's like, they don't look alike or whatever, but I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, Hollywood sometimes knows what it's doing, and they knew what they were doing when they cast Andrew Garfield for this movie. He's perfect.
The real life Eduardo Saverin is actually an incredibly sharp business guy who is now worth a crazy amount, $1 billion.
Is he Brazilian? Is that right?
He's Brazilian. Yeah, he's Brazilian. Yeah. But he also has done some pretty shady shit. So he's kind of he's had an interesting post Facebook career.
He's a billionaire. Of course, no one gets $1 billion playing the game correctly.
Yeah, true. He's also like a mega billionaire. I mean, So, no, very interesting guy.
Okay.
He makes a joke in the movie. The Andrew Garfield character, the Saverin character played by Andrew Garfield, makes a joke in the movie about like, it's not that I'm so attracted to Asian women, but Asian women are attracted to me. He actually in real life married an Asian woman.
How about that? Christy, Brenda Song's character, made up, completely fictional,
totally made up. Yep.
Why? I don't know. Like, why is she there? I don't know. I mean, I love Brenda Song, but like, I don't know. It's like such a weird.
Yeah, it's a nitpick. Yeah,
it's a weird plot line, but whatever. Like, I don't know. It really what it is for that. Like, yeah, a lot of people have complained about Sorkin's like writing of women. It's that scene when they're at the Bill Gates thing and she's like, Facebook me. Like that's like like why that character is there is like for that initial thing. But I do want to say before we get any further, I know you two are much more of trailer guys than I am. Is this the greatest trailer in existence?
It might possibly be with the Acquire version of Creep.
Yeah. I wanna feel no. Yeah. I'm a creep. And it shows all the different Facebook profile pictures.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant trailer.
So I think there, at some point in that trailer, there's like the saying where it's like, to make 500 million friends or whatever, you have to make a few enemies or whatever. It's this movie's like filled with like those little like taglines and like. The one you said about Eduardo just kind of like reminded me of that. So I just remember the trailer like in theaters. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I hate this, but I love it. Like I have to see this. Like I have to know what the hell this is. Like Facebook. Like really? And then sure enough, here we are. Great trailer. Connor, you have the next pick.
Well, I'm gonna go music because I'm pretty sure I'm safe for a performance.
Fuck.
Oh
no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Suspense is terrible. I hope it'll.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible, but it's also like, it's so hard to talk about Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross without just like
There's so
gushing.
many choices. Yeah, there's so many choices. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm not even like stressed out about it because it's like, okay,
I am. I'm stressed because it's like now I have to like confront my feelings about the greatest score ever.
Yeah.
Well, it's an amazing. I went with the row race where the Winklevoss twins lose.
The Royal Regatta. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ross and Reznor doing Hall of the Mountain King, and it's fucking perfect. It's the perfect representation of their insanity and their resentment and their just continual lack of focus on this because all they can think about is motherfucking Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
and it's just destroying them. And they're not sympathetic at all. Like they're piece of shit Harvard douchebags who wanted to take over the world, but someone beat them to it. But in that moment, you learn, you realize just how much this is affecting them. And I love their take on Hall of the Mountain King. It was so eerie and creepy and just vicious.
The ending too, that like kind of where it kind of like, I don't even know the right word to describe.
You
know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
It like kind of stretches it out. Yeah. It's so good.
It's in time with the rowing. It's like so.
Yes. It's I'm rooting for Holland during that. I'm like, come on, Holland, come.
Yeah, Holland. Yeah.
Do it for the Dutch.
And I also love I don't remember who. I think it's their dad who's like never apologized for losing a race like that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like a massive scene because that's when they decide like, let's freaking sue him.
Yeah.
Whoops! I broke your 335-year-old doorknob.
Yeah. It also is the scene where, we realize like they're willing to kind of go to war, and this thing has made it like semi-global. And also it's like a reminder. Fincher's like reminder to us that like, hey, like I can do this like the character stuff too, but like I can also like really make do some filmmaking here. Like the way that it's shot and stylized, it's just like it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yes. I know what you're talking about. Some of it's out of focus. The trees look fake. Like, is this a video game? But then it goes close up.
Yeah.
I Fincher. Like, there's only one answer. It's David motherfucking Fincher. Ooh, man, my heart's like racing because I was like, am I going to get what I want? In the whole Mountain King is an excellent pick. But you can't go wrong with Reznor. Why I was so nervous is because my first pick is going to be my favorite scene of the movie. It's the opening scene. So the reason I was nervous about it is because there's a needle drop and there's a score moment on opening end and closing end of this. And so we're all fans of the White Stripes. When you hear bam, 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 you're like, oh, this movie's
biscuit sugar.
Yeah.
This movie's about to start. Let's fucking go. And that's my favorite scene of the movie is Rooney, Jesse, just like a clinic, an absolute clinic. That scene is 7 minutes long where they're talking back and forth. It's 8 pages of script. 99 takes this took. 99. Talk about like just exhausting the shit out of your actors, breaking them down until you get the perfect thing. Connor, go ahead. I can see you want to say something.
It's crazy. It's exhausting. It's psychotic, but it is a great way to make them both super irritated.
Yeah. So when she says it'll be because you're an asshole, she's like, I'm sorry, Jesse, but like, I'm fucking tired of you right now.
Almost like she's looking right at the camera, like Fincher, asshole.
It's the conversation. It's like, Erica also, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, is also a fictional character, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Erica's made up to make this like more dramatized at the beginning to give him like a reason to like start doing this, the face smash, the hot or not, the farm animal thing. Like it starts our movie. Whatever. I don't really care. Like I think it's a brilliant scene. I love the setting, the scholarly, what is it called? The scholarly pub or whatever, like the place they're drinking at. The music is loud enough to be like, oh, they're actually inside of a bar, like a place, which is another thing I might be able to talk about later in a later scene. Like you can feel them. You can feel like the like claustrophobia. Like you can feel it settling in. You can feel like the amount of beer they have left is like, oh, they actually drank it, but like they stopped drinking to like have this conversation they're having. Everything feels so like set up, but so real. Like it is proper movie making. Yeah, Ball and Biscuit, excellent song. I listened to it today like 4 times because I was like, I really hope I get
It's like 7 minutes, right?
It matches our dialogue like perfectly. I think that is the moment where, like, Connor, to speak about Eisenberg, like, who else can do that? I don't know. Like, he is so smarmy and so annoying in that opening scene
and neurotic. Yeah.
I have a hard time like picking someone who's like they can like do the speed. So the reason like they kept doing it 99 times is Sorkin and Fincher. They basically were like, hey, we like it's 162 pages or something, 165 pages, the whole script. And they're like, we want to keep it like at 2 hours. So Fincher's like, well, how the fuck do I do that? And Sorkin's like, have them talk very, very fast. And so the opening scene is crucial because you're knocking out 8 pages in your first scene, and they would do it, and they would take like 7 minutes and 45 seconds, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. And so they would tell them, do it, but do it faster. And they would one of the famous quotes, I don't know if this is true, but on set, Sorkin was like, if you think you're doing it fast enough, do it faster.
Yeah.
Like, man, like, oh my God. Like, that's so badass. That's some cold shit to say to two young actors who are like just trying their hearts out. We have the line of, it'll be because you're an asshole. He leaves, and Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, they come onto the scene, and you're like, the dun dun dun, and he starts running through Harvard. It's really I think it's Johns Hopkins, right?
Johns Hopkins, yeah, it is.
That's where they filmed it. But it's Harvard, whatever. He's running to Kirkland. He's got his, weird like hoodie, flip flops. Like, you're already like, this guy's fucking weird. Like, isn't it cold? Like, it's fall of 2003 in Boston. Like, aren't you cold? He's running through, and you have this, just like gorgeous song playing. That one's called A Familiar Taste, I believe. It's unreal. It's uncanny. I think that's what that one's called.
I think it's Hardcover's Bruise, isn't it?
You're right. A Familiar Taste is the kind of intense one after In Motion. You're right, Adam. Track 4. This is like the opening. Hand Covers Bruise, and there's like the reprise later on when Andrew Garfield's doing the what were they diluted down to? It's just a great song. I listen to it all the time. It's one of those because it like starts off kind of soft, slow, and then it has that kind of like boom, like where now you feel like you're in a Fincher movie, right? Like the beginning, and it goes into that kind of like nasty, like droning, like like vibrating thing, and from there he goes to his room and starts becoming Mark Zuckerberg that we know. So I love that scene to death. To me, it's the best part of the movie, and I'm glad I got to choose it.
So yeah, you basically paired those two.
What do you mean?
Song and scene.
No, I'm gonna pick another song. There's plenty of songs to choose from, but like I wanted to talk about Ball and Biscuit really bad.
Okay.
Because it's part of my favorite scene.
I thought you were picking Ball and Biscuit.
So no, well, because that's my scene. What do you mean?
Yeah, just the way you were talking about Ball and Biscuit made me think you were picking that as your music moment, and then
I'll choose another music moment. I'll do a needle drop because Adam, I want to open up like the rest of the score to you for your pick. So the club scene between Sean Parker and Mark Zuckerberg, it's loud as fuck. Like, it's like they're actually in a club, which is so annoying in other movies when it's like, why is it quiet? Like, why are they able to hear every word? Like Justin Timberlake is like yelling at him. That's because she's a Victoria's Secret model. He's like screaming at him like, this is our time. Like all that stuff. The song that's playing, I went back and I was like, man, what is the song? It's called Sound of Violence by Dennis DeLotte. It is a sick song. Another like 8-minute banger that I listened to like 3 times today. And I was like, man, I want to pick this for my music moment. So I'm going with that. I want to go with a little needle drop. It's also, I think, one of the most impressive scenes of the movie. Like, how long did that take to shoot? Like, good Lord, like everything that's going on, the music being as loud as it is, all the people that are there, the stuff that they're saying to each other. It's just like such a brilliant scene between two dickhead entrepreneurs who are like, yeah, like we're about to fucking take over, that whole like attitude. So I want to choose that. And Adam, again, when it comes back to you, whenever you want to choose your music moment, I want to open up the rest of the score to you. So Connor, you have next pick.
This would be
well, real quick. I mean, on that scene, I think that
go ahead.
It's so unique. Yeah, to it forces you to lean forward, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it forces you to be like, oh wait, what are they saying? Like I
This
almost
is the
feel like
moment in theaters where like, can I have subtitles? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
so I couldn't quite hear. And I bet you that's part of the people's complaints about it too. Is like there's little things like that throughout the movie that are like just a little bit unconventional that like I could see people like, like that annoyed me, or but it's like, that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it
Keep
unique.
up, keep up, keep up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you have to keep up. Like I think that's why I relate to like the Sorkin nature of this script so much, is because I talk fast and I get criticized for it sometimes. So when I find somebody that can have the kind of pitter patter dialogue, like Austin, I think there's times where me, you, and Jeremy are together where people are probably like, "What in the hell are they talking about?" Like where there's just kind of like bang, 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 like you're jumping around from thing to thing. It's like, I lost you there. Like I got, and it's like you didn't keep up. Like or I'll make a joke.
Sorry.
Or like reference something 2 minutes ago, but like has something to do with now. It's like, and you just can't quite. But when you meet with somebody who can kind of do it, you're like, oh yes, like this is so awesome. And they actually can do it together, right? The Rooney Mara,
Yes.
just has my character, but he's so ridiculous and so like mean to her, that like unnecessarily mean to her, that she's just like, fuck you, basically, So both those scenes are like absolutely phenomenal, and they're just, it's like they're just, again, they're people in rooms talking, but they're kind of a unique room, like people in rooms talking is like kind of the best type of movie. And the timing of everything in the club scene, of like how it all plays out, when the waitress comes kind of drop him off, the models get back right as he says, like, that's why you reckon she's a Victoria's female. And what does he ask? He's like, is that a parable? Like he's like, why are you telling me, telling me this? He said, no, my it's like, people don't talk like that, but I don't care, like I think that's what makes it like this stylized dialogue. Like he didn't just like have that on hand to be like, oh, she looks so familiar. It's like that's just a brilliantly written scene, in dialogue. So I said, I talked about that scene before we let it go, because it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just like brilliant stuff. And yeah, Timberlake, like who knew?
I know, for real, he's great. Yeah,
who knew he had it in him? Yeah, it's excellent stuff. Yeah, Connor, if you have anything to say or not, you can take your pick.
Yeah, I love those. It's like all the scenes with Sean Parker. It's like it reminds me of like any movie where like the devil's whispering in somebody's ear. That's who Sean Parker is. He sees this easily manipulative, neurotic, angry teenager who has stumbled onto something amazing that he can, parasite his way onto. And he's just constantly, he's like pulling him away from his, his friend circle, and, poisoning the well with Eduardo, which didn't take a lot of work. But Sean Parker is portrayed in this movie as, the devil on his shoulder, which is just a great idea.
Yeah, kind of like Napster. Exactly like Napster. He's so good. God.
So it just occurred to me, this would be a great moment to just take Jesse Eisenberg for performance, just to hurt somebody, but I won't do that.
Oh man, Jesus. You just diluted me down to 0.03%.
I know, I could never do that to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a scene. It's the scene. It's like the best scene in the movie when Eduardo finds out he's been screwed and confronts Zuckerberg. It's so good. You like, even if you don't know anything about this story, you can feel that coming from the get-go. You know it's going to happen. And when it finally does happen, when Eduardo finally stands up for his part of this, it's so good. When he just breaks the fucking laptop and just screams in their faces, it's like you're just thinking, about fucking time. They've been doing nothing but cutting him out the whole time, and he's like just holding on to some like non-existent friendship that has never been reciprocated the entire movie. And finally he realizes it. Like, yeah, these fuckers used me and I'm coming after them.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's why that's Garfield's defining moment of the movie. It's why we all wanted him for performance.
It's the defining moment of his career. Like when he gets to yell, "Sorry, my Prada's at the cleaners."
Yes.
"Oh, it's my hoodie, my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag." Like it's the best, like most well-delivered line. And I like that, but I also like when he's like, "You better lawyer up, asshole." Like, I'm not coming back for my 30%, I'm coming back for it all. You're like, God damn. And like he like does the fake punch.
Yeah.
I love standing next to you, John. It makes me feel so tough.
Yeah, it is like,
Oh,
man,
good.
that it just gives me chills. Like, I love when he opens the doors, you're like, oh fuck yeah, like let's get it on. And when he goes to him and Timberlake's like, oh, he's wired in.
He's wired in.
Oh,
Yeah.
boom, he's still wired in. Like, oh
For
man,
me, like the line that does it for me is when he's like, "Tell me this isn't about me getting picked for the Phoenix."
mm,
Like, what a stupid fucking grudge to hold on to.
that's another bit of like great movie making where they like kind of like sprinkle that like throughout the movie. Like that night, one of my favorite scenes is the Caribbean night. Like I can't look at that Niagara Falls. It has nothing to do with the Caribbean. When they go outside and he's kind of like, oh yeah, they probably just did it for like diversity or like, and then he gets the second cut. He's like, oh, they probably just did it. You know, you're good. If you don't get any further, you're good. You know, like they sprinkle that throughout to where like it's believable. Like,
I've always hated just characters who aren't happy for their friend's success, who see it as like see life as some like petty jealous race that no one else is running. Like, to me, that's, it's obviously not real friendship. I've always been so happy for my friend's success. Like, I see my friend's success as my success, because that's friendship. And
well, I think you're hitting on something that is a part of the criticism of the movie. Is in real life these guys were not really friends. I mean, they paint
colleagues, right? Like kind of like
betraying your best friend. It's like they were just kind of classmates. That I think Mark knew this was a guy who had made some money, right, betting the oil futures. That was true. He made a bunch of money betting oil futures, and he's like, this is a guy who could help me business wise. Like, we weren't like, they weren't like tight. I mean, I think they kind of like were acquaintances and knew each other a little bit, but the crux of the movie being like, oh, like, how could someone do this to their best friend? I can see a criticism coming there, because like that wasn't really what happened. But again, this is not a documentary. This is telling a story, and it does make it more dramatic if they were like. And he has the line returns at one point. He's like, "I was your only friend," and it's like that wasn't really true. And Dustin Moskovitz had a way bigger role to play in the start of Facebook than they lead on in the movie. I do like that actor that plays Dustin Moskovitz. I think
he's great. He's funny.
Yeah, he also was in Bohemian Rhapsody as one of the members of Queen. But
forgot about that.
Pretty interesting.
Completely forgot that movie existed. Yeah,
it's a good pick.
Yeah, it's outside of this movie, I don't know really the story. I've never looked into it. I've never read the book. So, and that goes for a lot of people. To a lot of people, this is the only version of this story they're ever going to see.
Yeah.
So you take it at face value.
Yeah.
It's actually what we talk about a lot on Fake True Stories is, how damaging that can be to the historical record.
Yeah.
It is. Weird. I just, with movies, I'm very much like,
I don't care. At the time, I'm like, yeah, get him. Eduardo, fight for yourself.
Yeah. If the movie does stay true to something, that's good for them. Good for them. Like, they stay as accurate as they can, but yeah, if you need to spice it up for.
The problem is life is very often just not cinematic. Things don't unfold in a narrative way most of the time. Sometimes it does, and that's weird. But most of the time, shit doesn't happen like that. So you got to force a narrative into a lot of stories.
Yeah, totally agree. That's why we watch them, right? Yes, escape reality. Great, excellent pick. To me, that and the opening are like my two favorite scenes. So Adam, I know you have a lot of favorites, but I'm very curious to see where you go next. You have two picks in a row.
Yeah. So for my first two things that I wrote down for scene was the "You Better Lawyer Up Asshole" scene with Garfield and the opening with Rooney Mara. So those are good picks. Glad you guys picked that. But there's so many different ways you can go. I thought about going with just the Royal Regatta scene as like my favorite scene, but it's like it's not quite. The race itself, especially, is not quite. It's like there's more to the movie than that. It's like it's almost like a little bit removed. It's like the only time I guess it's the only time we actually leave the States, right? Or even leave. Yeah, I guess there's in the deposition rooms that you leave Boston for a bit,
and you go to Palo Alto.
And obviously at the end of the later back you go out to California, but California.
That's
great. So that I thought about that long and hard as a music pick, but it's like there's just too much of the score that I like.
Yeah, but it is a great needle drop.
Yeah, Dead Kennedys. Yeah, it's perfect. But and that's the scene where he chooses one of the guys to go out there with him. They're like kind of in like a coding race or whatever. You see Dustin give like a nice little bit in that scene. But man, I'm so torn on which way to go. I understand that like music is left for me. but my notes, I have that right here, so I want to like talk about that now. Like I could just say that for the end, but the quote, I'm fine. I'm gonna get that either way. So Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. This is the first score they ever did together. They're longtime friends and collaborators. Trent Reznor agreed to do this score like a little bit reluctantly because it's like, oh, this is kind of a weird pivot for me, but it has turned out to be a genius pivot because it has opened I think the door to him.
Oh my God.
So many movies since then. And then he also, I think, has gained a new wave of fans because people are like, man, who did this? Oh, Trent Reznor. Oh, who was that? Nine Inch Nails. Okay, let me go back and listen to that. And I think it's gained this whole new wave. And I think his score for Girl with Dragon Tattoo is absolutely or their score, Girl with Dragon Tattoo is absolutely phenomenal as well. But but this one, so I'm gonna go. So your official pick was what, Austin? Ball and Biscuit.
No, I went Sound of Violence.
Right.
But I went Ball and Biscuit and Hand Covers Bruise, like the opening for my opening scene, my favorite scene. So what that can leave for you is that double back to back in motion Familiar Taste.
Yeah.
When he's simultaneously blogging it. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, 3:14 every night is great too.
Great one.
Yeah. And so it's funny, Austin, I do listen to these like I'll just like be in the car and just like I'm gonna throw this on for a little bit.
In motion. Yeah, I mean, like if I'm playing FIFA and I'm like, I need to score a goal, I put on In Motion. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I guess I'll do this. Maybe feels like a little bit like cheating, but yeah, I'll do Hand Covers Bruise, the reprise at the end. The again, we get the kind of the like it was, I guess, fuzzy kind of like synth for a bit, and then the piano. It's just like, it's just a constant contrast in styles, just back and forth. And I think that's really, really cool, and obviously, unique to Trent Reznor. So that's what I'll go with for music. For scene, man, which route to go? I think some of the early California scenes are really good. Like Sean Parker kind of discovering that they lived there. Like that's like a real indication. Like Connor, you mentioned earlier, like the devil being on his shoulder. It's like Sean has this like little grin on his face, like, oh, I've got him now. Like he's out here. Like he's mine now. And then he makes him go do the prank with where he's wearing the flip flops and the robe and goes into that meeting with one of the investors. I can't remember the guy. Manningham. Yeah, Manningham. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or Lanningham, maybe. Yeah.
I can't remember. Sean Parker says, fuck you.
The devil bird. And you can see there's like this giddiness to Jesse Eisenberg's Mark Zuckerberg and how like, oh man, like this is so fun. Like it's just not a life that he's lived before. Like I'm getting to go to these like giant rooms and get to do these things and kind of be a little bit of a dick. But in real life, I think, I think he could be like this. Now he's a quieter guy. He's not as like kind of in your face about some of this stuff, but apparently he's like ruthlessly competitive. And like, you don't get to like this point without being competitive and wanting to chase something. So I will actually go. I'm trying to which part of the deposition to go with, but all of those scenes are like way better than they should be. Like those actually should not be that interesting, but all the deposition scenes are like, you're kind of hanging on every word. But I'll probably go with the looking out the rain. He's not paying attention. Is like, do I have your attention, Mark? And you have the minimum amount. I probably could have pulled up the whole thing because it could be the quote or actual scene. But that scene is so good because you can see he's just like, what are we doing here? Like, I just don't care about this. Like, fine, if I have to settle, whatever. Like, I just want to get back. And he said, my mind is on the people at the offices of Facebook where you're doing things that you're incapable of doing. That's a brilliant scene. And I think Eisenberg at his best there, where he kind of gets that like almost like angry, like kind of look where he kind of, closes his eyes a little bit. And is just kind of pointing at them almost like, look at you fools. Like, I'm actually the one. And like, the annoying thing is he's right. Like this is all being done, but like he's created the thing that's going to have the lasting impact. You know what I mean? Like he has won in this thing. Now we can obviously debate, whether that win was a good thing for the society or not. I would debate that it has not been, but he did win, in his way.
Yeah. I think if your clients want to sit on my shoulders and call themselves tall, they have a right to give it a try. But there's no requirement that I enjoy sitting here listening to people lie. You have part of my attention. You have the minimum amount. The rest of my attention is back at the offices of Facebook, where my colleagues and I are doing things that no one in this room, including and especially your clients, are intellectually or creatively capable of doing. Did I adequately answer your condescending question? And he pulls up to he's like doodling. He like pulls.
Yes, to make it obvious that he's just doodling. Yes, no, that is a masterclass in writing right there. Like that paragraph is just brilliant.
And that is Eisenberg, like, like I got you, Sorkin. Like, hold my beer. Say less.
Nobody turns mundanity into pure fucking gold like Aaron Sorkin. Everything he's ever made should be the most boring fucking movie ever, but he turns it into lightning every time. It really is amazing.
And it's like actors are like chomping at the bit to get these normal things to like yell, like you can't handle the truth, like those like little like things, but they like get to just like take it and make it their own. And that happens in this movie like 45 times in different scenes. It's brilliant.
I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. Now I can't stop thinking of A Few Good Men.
Should you order the red alert? You're goddamn right, I did.
So we should mention Aaron Sorkin is in this movie briefly.
Yes, he goes. Well, what is he doing?
Yeah. Is that a tisk? Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's like a.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, what is this?
Yeah.
It's a great scene. Yeah, those scenes are hilarious when he's just being I wish he would have been asleep. Yes, it's so good. All right, so you went Hand Covers Bruise, the reprise. That's later on, and you went with that deposition scene. That's kind of like it's one of many like moments between him, the Winklevosses, and Devia. Is that his name?
Divya.
Yeah. Divya, man, Max Miguel is scary good in this. I thought he'd have a different career by now. To be honest with you, Max.
Me too.
He got to be a Saw bad guy, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Oscar nominated type, like kind of like almost like
success is success.
I'm with you. He's living his life. Okay, so Connor, you have another pick. You've taken your music and your scene, so you got performance and quote.
I'm gonna go with a quote.
All right.
It's when Marilyn Delpy, Rashida Jones, starts talking to Zuck.
And Zuck on it.
Like, oh my god,
that hasn't aged well.
If a fraction of this movie's true, he's the biggest douchebag on the planet.
Yes.
Anyway, she's curious about this whole thing because she's new and he has no time for her, and she asks him, "You must really hate the Winklevosses." And he, without taking his eyes off his computer, says, "I don't hate anybody. The Winklevi aren't suing me for intellectual property theft. They're suing me because for the first time in their lives, things didn't go exactly the way they were supposed to for them." I love that because it's fucking true. And also just Winklevi had me cackling.
It's a brilliant line. Yeah.
And it just, it harkens back to the first time they met. Because it's implied in the movie, but like I think the whole reason he took this from them is because they rode crew. That's the whole reason. They introduced themselves as like, "Oh, we row crew," and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna hear you out and take what you have."
Yeah, and the whole like, oh well, like at the whatever the Porsche whatever it's called, their fucking porcelain, and they're like, "We can't let you pass the bike room." Porcelain, yeah, just douchebags, like just the biggest, the biggest douchebags in the world, and their little minion is just like. Yeah, he's annoying as fuck too. They're all pricks. Like everyone in this is a prick.
So I do think some of the scenes with them and how they're portrayed is the like some of the Sorkin nature of this, because I think Sorkin, like, had he directed this, I think he would want it to be like look at the little guy who kind of rose up and like kind of won over these other people, but it's like way more complicated than that, right? It's like it's way more complicated than that, which is why I'm glad it's a mixture of the two guys, because I think he knows how to bring out the kind of dark side of kind of the human nature part of what these guys are going through.
Yeah, well, like Fincher's whole thing is like everybody's a pervert, like everybody's like fucked up, like everyone's like everyone has a dark side, everyone can be pushed to that limit. Like that's why like all of his movies are, and it's pretty clear that he does not have like a lot of hope in humanity. He's very cynical filmmaker.
He thinks everyone's a sociopath, and in this world, in the business world, they are. Like, you have to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is basically one sociopath taking an idea from a pair of twin sociopaths who were not going to. I don't think they would have gotten as far with it. Like, it wouldn't have left Harvard if the Winklevosses had done this.
Okay. So you guys mentioned this. I think Connor, you asked the question. I think was it yesterday? You asked, do you guys think he stole it? I didn't answer intentionally because I disagree with you guys. I do not think he did. I think this is a guy who had an idea like this because he kind of had the face mash thing and went like that. These guys had pieces of it that he was like, oh, I can add to that. I can add to that. But their intention clearly was just to keep it a Harvard because their whole thing was like the exclusivity was why this was going to work. Whereas I think Mark was thinking much more big picture. So, I mean, stole is, I think, that's just like such a strong word. So I don't think he stole it. I think there's pieces of it that's like, oh, okay, like, let me take it for that. And he certainly led them on. Like he definitely like did some shady stuff. But I think to say that it was stolen from them, I think would be false. And I think if you read the book, it would make more sense. It's like, this is, okay. They portrayed a little bit more kind of like shady than it actually even happened. And a lot more was kind of already done on Mark's end before he even met with those guys. I
don't care that he did it. I don't care at all. Like,
yeah.
Again, if you're the inventors of Facebook, you would have invented Facebook.
Exactly.
It's like everything. And there's the whole like quote with the chair. Like, I agree. Like, so I'm like on both sides. I'm like, yeah, he's a fucking smarmy prick, but so what? Like, he play better, like do better, like do the code yourself, bitches. Like, do the coding yourself, like do the work,
they don't work. They have daddy's money for that.
Which is that's my quote's gonna come from someone there.
All right, he may not have stolen it, but he 100% screwed them.
Yeah, and I do feel for them in a way, right? Like it definitely, like it, it's not really right the way like it played out. Like,
but do I really do I care? Nah. Because again, like look at them and like these like Olympians who go to Harvard, like we're gentlemen of Harvard,
Okay. See, that's
Question.
Go ahead,
If Zuckerberg had met with like some, kid on scholarship from the Midwest who was like, corn-fed Iowa kid who was a good-hearted guy, and he had the idea for this and he stole it from him, supposedly, would you feel for him? Do you just not feel for the Winklevosses because they're rich pricks?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Me too.
Definitely a little bit. Yeah, definitely a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I maybe like kind of like bump up against that a little bit because it's like I mean, just because a guy's like tall and like a good athlete doesn't mean like you can't have like a good idea too. I just
have a good idea and do it.
Yeah, the way they're portrayed is definitely like rich little daddy's money type guy. When I think even that is probably not quite right in in real life. I think these guys actually were like like genuine like kind of free thinkers and at least tried. I mean, maybe how they got into Harvard was due to their athletic prowess and among other things, but I mean they got into Harvard because like you can do the daddy's money thing, but it's like, but if you're rowing in the Olympics like that, you are wanted by schools like that, right? Like you don't need daddy's money, right? Like that is like you actually have like risen above that, and you've actually like gotten there because of your own prowess in like the thing that you chose to do. I mean, they represented the country. It's like this wasn't just like a couple guys who just like happened to row in college. There's
okay. So that furthers my point. You have the resources. You are these athletes. You do this. You work or you go to school at Harvard. Make the thing that you want to make.
Yes.
You literally have the resources at your fingertips. Like, do it. That's where I'm kind of like the fact that they like these people, like they sued him is like, I mean, sorry, like
that's like
like
they should
sorry,
know.
bud.
They should know more than anybody. It's like that's how it's played. That's how the game is played. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So no, I totally agree with you because I do. Especially like athletes definitely get kind of like they're like they get whatever they want.
They literally and figuratively lose the race in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough stuff,
and like, look, they end up fine. I mean, look up what happened to them. I mean, they end up fine. They did get a big payout, and they're fine. And have had some other business successes since then. But
correct.
But their name will always be associated with this, and just like oh, what a joke! Lost, like what a joke, like that's that's got to be frustrating for guys who actually had this actually quite good idea. You know what I mean? Like actually was like a very good idea. They just didn't quite know how to execute it, and he did, and that's where he won. And I think that's the thing. Mark knew first to market is going to win this, so like I can't really like let them in on this process because like I actually need to be first to market because that's what's going to win this day.
Yeah. And the name. Oh, go ahead.
The name was dumb. I mean, Harvard Connection. It's like that was always going to limit it to just Harvard. Like that's what was dumb.
True. And
Harvard.edu. Yeah.
the most
Harvard.
exclusive. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we talk about Army Hammer at all?
Yeah.
Who's got the next pick?
You or no, me. I have 2 in a row. You're gonna talk about him, Connor?
That could be right off. 2 in a
I'm
row.
thinking about it.
Yeah, these are my last 2 picks, and then Connor, then you, then we're done.
Oh, because Connor. Okay, just picked already. Yeah. Okay.
Connor just did the Winklevi.
Right.
Winkle. Okay. Well, I'm taking Eisenberg, Connor. Are you gonna talk about Arm Hammer in a little bit?
I may.
Okay. All right. So I'm taking Eisenberg. We've talked about him a ton for my performance. Yeah. I mean, I think he's just fucking lights out. I would take it pretty far. Like personally, I just think he like totally understands what's going on and like what the drill was, what the mission was for this movie. I think he understands Sorkin just as good as anybody. I think he reads his stuff super, super well. Does the smarmy stuff really well. Does the the like I'm the highest intellect in the room really well. So love that. For quote, we were just talking about the Winklevosses, and one of my favorite scenes of the movie is when they get to the meeting with Larry Summers. This is
Damn it.
This is such a good scene. So there's multiple quotes from this. I picked it's super long. I'm not gonna like read the whole fucking scene, but Larry Summers says some hilarious stuff in this. So I'll kind of take this tidbit. This is Cameron and Tyler going to Larry to like say, hey, like this other Harvard student like stole our idea. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And Cameron says, well, sir, in the Harvard Student Handbook, which is distributed to each freshman under the heading Standards of Conduct in the Harvard Community, it says that the college expects all students to be honest and forthcoming in their dealings with members in this community. Students are required to respect public and private ownership and instances of theft, misappropriation. Larry Summers interrupts and says, Anne? And she says, yes, sir. Punch me in the face. Go ahead. Cameron, or unauthorized use will result in disciplinary action, including a requirement to withdraw from the college. Larry Summers then says, and you memorized all of this instead of doing what? So Larry Summers heat check, like unreal scene in this movie. He is so good. There's other quotes that he has like in that bit. I don't know if I'm going to step on your toes, Adam. I don't really want to if you're going to use him as well.
I was, but I'll go somewhere else because we're using the scene. You've got to do the Catherine. I've got students in my office now. That bit is so good.
That bit and the this is wrong. Like this is not of Harvard. It's not what Harvard saw in you. And when they're like, this could be worth millions, he's like, millions. I think we're letting our imagination get run away.
No, that's a key bit though. That
it is. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. Because it shows no one is actually capable of how big. No one understands how big this is actually going to be, except Sean Parker. He's the only one that's like, oh man, this could be the thing. Like even Mark himself is like doesn't understand the tool that he's created. Right? It's like this thing is going to be way more powerful than you realize, and it's going to get way darker than this movie portrays. Because like some of the dark stuff happened, after the movie came out. But like it's why it has such a resonance to this day, because it's going to continue to, because it is still so big. It's still just like such a big thing. It's like it's not like that cool anymore. Like most people have kind of moved on from it, especially kind of young people, especially people like I'm around a lot. But like it is still just like this massively powerful tool in this world, and it is that's like very scary. That nobody had any idea. So yeah, could be worth millions. Like let your imagination run wild. It's like I don't know. They were like way underselling what it was. Like, what it was worth. He had no idea.
And that's what he says. Tyler's like, sir, I honestly don't think you're in a position to make that call. Larry goes, I was the U.S. Treasury Secretary. I'm in some position to make that call.
No, so the line I was hinting at. So the Catherine, I've got students. He's on the phone. Catherine, I've got students in my office now. Students, undergrads. I don't know. From the looks of it, they want to sell me a Brooks Brothers franchise. That's such a good line.
Oh yeah. Oh man, he is so good. Larry Summers. Larry Summers is a wonderful character. Whoever. If Sorkin was like, hey, like, I gotta throw this in. Like this is just like a brilliant piece of writing. It's one of the many like long running dialogues between Armie Hammer and him. Who is it that plays Larry Summers?
I'm trying to find that right now. Because
if we had a heat check performance award, I got to go him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can't ruin Mara because she's not really in it much, but I don't know. There's something about Larry that just cackles me.
Yeah, it's got it in order. I'll look it up. But yeah, y'all keep going.
Okay, well, that's my last pick, the Larry Summers quote. So I went with the opening for my favorite scene, Jesse Eisenberg for performance, Sound of Violence by Dennis DeLotte for music, and then the great Larry Summers tidbit there. Connor, your last pick is performance.
Douglas Urbanski, by the way. That's Larry Summers.
There it is.
There we go. There we go.
Not who I'm picking. I'm just saying that's it.
That'd be hilarious.
Also, I just like to plug real quick. Follow Filmgazm Productions on Facebook.
Well played.
Performance. I am going to give it to Armie Hammer.
Yep.
Just because you want to eat people does not mean you're a bad actor.
Yeah, well, hey, Kevin Spacey was one of the executive producers in this movie, so we're not in a great, great place.
That does not help me, Austin. I honestly didn't know that.
House of Cards.
Fuck.
Social Network.
All right. Basically, I admire anyone who can play twins. I think that's a talented guy. I think it's amazing to play two characters who are identical.
CGI.
So he doesn't technically play twins.
Well, he's performing as both characters, right? I'm aware there's not two Armie Hammers.
Yeah. No, I know that, but like kind of. I mean, it's just.
Yeah,
it's just,
I mean, technically,
it's not his body. It's not his body.
Is it his face?
It is his face.
His words. Is it him speaking for both characters?
They redid the audio with his. So yeah, but like anytime they're walking around, there's no like movie magic there. There's actually two guys walking around there.
Yeah,
I think the guy's name is, I can't remember. They actually have him in the movie briefly later.
And then like if they're in the same frame, it's CGI. His face is CGI.
The face CGI, but it's never his body. There actually was a guy who they performed everything together. They just decided to do the redo the lines and make the CGI, the face look exactly the same. That's why like there's always one like wearing sunglasses or wearing, you know what I mean? Kind of things like that. But that actually is like another dude walking around. Josh Pence is his name, and he's in the movie.
Okay. No, I don't think that I was listening to someone talk about this because Josh Pence apparently like essentially got fired, and he's only in that one scene where he's like, sweet. When they're like, oh, girls are cleaning up. I can't. Who was it that I was listening to talk about that?
Well, he's like barely done anything since then.
Yeah, I don't think he's even the double Josh Pence.
What do you mean, the double?
Is what I'm saying. I don't think he's like the guy walking around. I don't think he's the body.
No, he is.
Someone, I swear to God, I listened to someone. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll have to find that.
Yeah, they just superimpose Armie Hammer's face over him.
Well, I mean, again, it's still his voice. It's still his performance.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, he's excellent in the movie. Yeah.
Armie Hammer's, he's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
Have they figured out what the fuck happened there with him? Like, has what the hell happened with that?
I don't even like want to. I don't know. Like I don't
know.
Last
I heard he was selling timeshares in the Caymans.
Yeah. Well, so his wife owned a bakery here in San Antonio. And he like, so they would go to our uncle owns a company that our dad used to co-own with him. And they would go get bakery supplies from them. So he would like, I remember he would like hang out at like the place where like where I used to work, like where this company my uncle owns, like his wife would go back there in the lab and like work with the different products, and he'd come back there sometimes. And like, I think our uncle's like had drinks with them before. For like a legit customer for a while.
Said he was like fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, it's just a very weird like fall, and obviously he had a bunch of big projects and did more stuff since then, but since this movie, but yeah, I mean the more stuff that came to light, it's like this is like really really dark and like vile stuff. So no, I think he's done. I think don't think he's
not coming back. We've seen the last of baking soda here,
and rightfully so.
Yeah, if it's true, 100% rotten hell, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah,
but in terms of just this movie, in terms of performance, I do think that Hammer as the Winklevi is a good cast, and he does a really good job just playing a smarmy, the kind of guy who's had every advantage in life and just has never been told no.
Yeah.
And how he handles it. You're supposed to hate them over Mark. Like, that's the intention. Doesn't necessarily go that way every time, but they're supposed to be the quote unquote bad guy of the movie.
Yeah.
Or Sean Parker, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And Zuckerberg.
And they don't actually do anything wrong.
No, they just sue for intellectual property theft with not much of a case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I think he does a good job. And prior to all that shit coming out, I was kind of a fan. I thought he was good. And I just am still kind of reeling from the fact that like it's not just rape accusations, it's fucking cannibalism accusations, which is oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thought Armie Hammer's life would turn out to be like the script of a David Fincher movie?
I know, right? Didn't the Lone Ranger deal with some cannibalism? I seem to.
I barely remember that movie, to be honest with you.
Better times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was on, he was on a good track there. Like Call Me by Your Name, obviously was like a big deal, and I liked him a lot. And Sorry to Bother You, because 2018.
Is Guadagnino still doing the sequel to Call Me by Your Name, and how is he doing that now?
I hope not.
See how? I don't see how. Yeah.
Well, sorry to turn this in that direction, but it was gonna happen.
No. You pick with your heart. You pick who you think deserves that award.
It's not the Human Being of the Year award. It's the Performance Award, and the people I wanted were snatched. So
yeah, no, Armie Hammer is great. I mean, even the way he just like holds the newspaper and is like, "We're not going to sue someone," or what does he say? Like, "We're not going to start a knife fight in the Crimson." Just like, God, fuck you, dude. Like,
just pure Harvard. It's like they walked off the fucking like painting in one of the fucking halls.
Oh God,
you're men of Harvard.
Great. Yeah. I want to hire Tony Soprano to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's a funnier movie than I think people realize.
Like, yeah,
that's Sorkin. It's wit. The guy's witty as shit. Like I watched the entirety of The Newsroom fairly recently, and it's a dramatic show, but it's hysterical because
that's
shit he writes. Fucking hits, man.
Yeah, it's an excellent show. Yeah, everything he does, there's always like a tint of. I mean, he's an entertainer, Aaron Sorkin, and even Fincher, like. Obviously, he's not the writer of these movies, but like Mank has some funny as shit moments. Fight Club has some really funny moments. Like he's no stranger to like having a little dark side of humor. So yeah, man, Armie Hammer's a great pick. I think fourth in line's got to be Justin Timberlake, right?
Timberlake's third in line, for being honest here, but do
we want to talk about maybe some other little pieces of the cast? Because I have a couple notes about that.
Yeah, before we get to your final award, Adam, I think we should like go ahead and. I mean, Rooney Mara is like lights out.
She's awesome.
The scene she's in. JT is casted like perfectly. Who else do you got?
Well, so Rooney Mara, she also has that other kind of like half scene later in the movie at the restaurant when he runs into her, and she, they have like a little like thing there, and she's clearly like not over it, and it's like like no, like you were terrible. I mean, what he does on the blog, I mean, and this they stretch the truth on this a little bit too. What he says about her on the blog is so disgusting. I mean, it's like, it's just terrible, kind
of fucked up.
Yeah, just like what he puts out about her is just like, it's just awful. And so she has every right to be, incredibly angry with him. And that little scene when she kind of like. She also has like no idea about like the magnitude, like what he built, because like he walks away and she's like, "Good luck with your video game," or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, man, I was like, you have no idea, like what this is going to turn into.
I like the other guy who's like, "We got a problem here."
Yeah. No, I mean JT, and like I love the Dakota Johnson scene. Like, there's so many little people like that, like Dakota Johnson, Brenda Song. You're just like, oh yeah, cool. Caleb Landry Jones at the very end of the movie.
Yes,
is in like, it has like one line. Yeah, is at the very back end. So my top two movies of the decade have Caleb Landry Jones. And then
gotta love that.
And then I want to shout out the two kind of main lawyers, which are played by David Selby and John Getz. They play both Gage and Cy.
How about John Getz and Zodiac though? Good lord,
yeah, so good. Fincher does love his guys,
but they're not like main players. They're like
no.
Come on back, read a few scenes for me. I got you.
Yeah. I would have loved a Philip Baker Hall sighting in this movie.
Oh man, that would have been wonderful.
They really would have. I also really like Barry Livingston as Mr. Cox, the like head of like
Yep.
the IT at Harvard. I thought he was really
That scene is excellent when he's like, "May I,
Yeah.
Mr. Zuckerberg? Like it was our security that led us to you in 4 hours." And he's like, "Oh, 4 hours? That's neat. If you would have known what you're looking for, the algorithm was written on my dorm room window."
Yeah.
That scene is excellent. Like,
I think I deserve some measure of recognition. Yeah.
I don't understand which part. Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent scene. Yeah, Max Minghella is awesome. I mean, is there anyone where you're like, "Oh, that guy sucked," you know? Like, there's no one who like just doesn't deliver.
No, I don't know. It really is just like unbelievably well cast.
Yeah, and here's my thing is like, you look at it, some of these names like a John Getz, or Livingston, like these aren't people that are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go see the movies because of these guys," It's Fincher's always been so good at having the right amount of like star power, and then like everyone else is a role player. Like he's got his Michael Jordan, he's got his Scottie Pippen, he's got usually has like his Dennis Rodman, right? And then everybody else like get in line because it's. I think Zodiac's like a great example of the we have our MJ and Scotty with Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. Then like out of nowhere, Mark Ruffalo comes in as Rodman. You're like, "Oh my god, like this guy might be the best part of the movie." And you got your John Kerr Lynch, who's like, who, Adam? Who is he? Like John Paxson, Steve Kerr off the bench, dropping 20. Like,
yeah. Paxton's that's a good example.
Comes in hot. Yeah, Fincher's so good at that. Like those like kind of side supporting characters that just like give you exactly what you need. But he loves to have like his three kind of like his wheel. In this movie, it's apparent. God, man. What a cool movie. I'm very curious. Where are you going with your quote, with your final pick?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that we have not mentioned yet that they're like kind of like some classics. The Winklevoss, what's the Winklevoss one where he's like, "I'm 6'5", 220. There's two of me." That like
That's like great.
We can't do that ourselves. That's pretty good. There's also the drop the just face.
Yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
Peter. That's a really good one. Thought about that. There's also the when you sign these documents, we're aware that you were signing your own death certificate to Eduardo Saverin, which is just like this kind of like heartbreaking scene where he's starting to realize like obviously this is awful. Austin, I think you might have mentioned, or maybe Connor, you did we lived on farms, then we lived in cities, and now we're on the internet. I thought about that one because it's like that is like the scene where it's also at the very end of the movie when he's Sean Parker's about to get caught. And but it also it's like 21. It's true. It's true. Like we did live on farms, and then we have lived in cities, and now we do live on the internet.
We have done every single episode of this entire show on the internet. We've never done any of this in person.
Yeah, that's true.
And even if we were in person, we desperately need the internet to make it work.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
I mean, I flipped through like so many tabs on my laptop right here, and I'm up on my phone on Zoom. Like, I mean, come on. Yes.
I checked Facebook 3 times while we've been here. I'm doing it right now.
You're like Dakota Johnson. It's freakishly addictive.
Yeah. She has some great deliveries in that.
I love that when she comes out of the shower, comes back out of the shower. I don't know. I could have.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
That's a great little scene. That
Amy, there's a snake in the room.
Wait, you're not 15, are you?
Yeah. Oh God. I love the Sean Parker line. One of my favorite quotes in the movie is, "I'm CEO, bitch." It's again such like a douchey entrepreneur like line. Like, it's our time. I love the way he delivers that. This is our time.
Yeah.
It's like it's 2006, in somewhere in Southern California. They're probably in LA during that scene. And you're just like, how many people have been on cocaine in a club in Los Angeles and been like, this is our time? Like billions.
But like only
thought that.
They're the only ones that it actually was true.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. You probably got like Madonna said it at one point. It was probably true, like in the 80s.
You've ever done coke in LA, you've said that at least once.
Regardless of what club you're at.
Yeah.
You could be at a fucking Red Roof Inn, like this is
Johnny Rockets
by yourself.
Connor, you could be walking on Sunset Boulevard to a Holiday Inn. This is our time, man.
Yeah. All we were missing was the coke.
Yeah, and I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, good. That's a good thing.
Oh, Jesus
But to answer
Christ.
your question, and to hopefully tie this together a bit, the scene is probably not real life. It's not actually the impetus behind Mark Zuckerberg starting Facebook. He didn't start Facebook because he was trying to get back at a girlfriend. I mean, there's some of the face mash stuff maybe, but he started Facebook because he likes writing code and he likes building things, and that's what he decided to do this. I think the movie wants us to believe it's like, oh, it's all because of like a scorned, lover, and then at the end he's like refreshing constantly, hoping.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a good touch though.
I
It's a
love
good
that
touch.
scene.
it's a good
I
touch,
almost
but it's
picked
like,
that.
that's not. I mean, that's not real. It's like it's just
Yeah,
that's a great like movie. That's a great movie touch. But this is the point. This is the point I'm making. Is like all of these things are why this movie is so good, because it's like it's Sorkin at his best, it's Fincher at his best, it's these actors at their best, all kind of like tying these things together. And so that opening scene where it kind of sets the tone of the movie with Ball and Biscuit and their pitter patter dialogue, kind of setting, hey, this is what this is about to be like. It's watching that scene is sometimes like being on a stairmaster. So dating you is like dating a stairmaster is my quote, because
Wow.
like the way she delivers that is like so perfect, and it is like this exhausting thing, and like you may be exhausted at the end of this, but like it's gonna be worth it. And then obviously we tie it together with him checking Facebook at the end, his own network. And what's the line she says? Rashida Jones says, she's like, "Wow, they have what country is it?" She's like, "Wow, they don't have roads, but they have Facebook."
Bosnia.
Yeah. It's like, that's just so crazy. But no, I love that. Dating you was like dating a stairmaster. There's so many from that scene that you could choose. But I do love that little bit. So that's what I went with.
Why do
Well
you keep
said.
saying I don't have to study? Because you go to BU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So douchey. But,
Sorry, you don't approve of my education. Yeah.
yeah. No, she starts to almost kind of deliver stuff like through like gritted teeth almost,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, when you know it's 99 takes, you're probably like, man.
Yeah.
And she's in three simultaneous arguments with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, because she can't even like figure out which one he's actually wanting to like talk about. It's just, God, it's so good. But that also is, that scene I think is why she got Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I'm so glad she did.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I love the thought of like they finish her scenes in the movie. She probably did it, obviously 99 takes, but then she does like that other little scene like you mentioned earlier, Adam. And she probably wasn't on set for like that many days, right? I love the idea of Fincher being like, so like you busy? You busy next year, or
Yeah.
you want to shoot a movie called Dragon Tattoo? It's gonna be a little more. You're gonna have a bigger role. you indeed are gonna be the girl with the dragon tattoo. I love that thought. Like water cooler talk. It's Fincher and Rooney Mara. Oh man, good shit, guys. Yeah, I feel like we've covered the whole movie in a roundabout way, but I don't know. Is there anything we're missing?
There's the whole thing with the chicken.
The whole chicken scene, the whole Brenda song thing. There's a few things where it's like, yeah, we don't really need that, but whatever.
Yeah, but that's what gets Eduardo, right? I mean, so that
it is
important.
He planted that story. Yeah.
What does he say? It was like, "Don't fish eat other fish. The marlins and the trout." Yeah,
yeah, that is a funny line. I love the line when they do go to eat with Sean Parker for the first time, and he's like, when someone goes fishing, you don't see a guy like with a picture with him and a 14 trout. What do you see? A 3,000-pound marlin. He goes, "Whoa!" Just like, set the record straight. We all know that marlin don't weigh 3,000 pounds. That'd be a really big fish and a really strong guy. Such a good. And Brenda Song's like, I think you're getting away from the point. I'm just saying. And Andrew Garfield does a few things where you're kind of like, I see why they cast him as Spider-Man. I see it.
Yeah.
I totally get why they thought this was like a good Peter Parker, a good, I don't know.
Do you credit the failure of that era of Spider-Man with him not having as much success as a box office draw and being more prone to indie stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm like in a weird camp where I kind of like those movies. I think they're okay. I think
they've grown on me, but I remember at the time still feeling bitter that I wasn't getting Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, yeah, there's stuff that's like really, really spotty, really shoddy about those two movies. But yeah, I think I'd agree with you because this is 2012, 2014. I think those two movies. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not. He's not a huge star. And we were so used to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and so comfortable and like happy with it. Like people were so happy with those, especially the first two. We're like so satisfied with like those movies. I think they just dropped the ball on a few things. But yeah, I watched them not that long ago. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tom Holland wasn't some like big star though. Like,
and neither was Tobey Maguire at the time. He was like kind of, but like not
true.
oh my god.
But Holland's movies were his Spider-Man movies were insanely successful, so I feel like he's had more opportunity to try and be a box office star than Andrew Garfield had.
Sure. I think Garfield doesn't like really care about that. I think he chooses like just unique projects that he like. I mean, Under the Silver Lake is a prime example of that, right?
Oh, that's his best role ever. Yeah.
I always go to bat for Hacksaw Ridge. I think that's his.
He's great in that. Yeah,
he's very good in that. Yeah.
That's 2014, right? Yeah, that's
actually
16.
16.
One last question for you guys. When did y'all get a Facebook?
Like 7th grade, 8th grade,
9th grade.
So
what year is this? So it went
right before this movie came out, like 08, 09. Yeah.
It went like kind of wide in probably like 2005.
It says it on your profile. It says when you joined May 2009.
Where is that?
I had to make a new one. I lost my password or something, so I had to make a new one like probably in like 2012 or 13.
So Adam, on your profile, it says details, and it should be in there. But yeah, that sucks, Austin.
Yeah, I think 2012 is like when I got it because that's when I was moving to Romania, and I was like, oh, I can use this to like talk with friends from home, online.
I got it in May 2009, and at the time thought this was the coolest thing. I can talk to my friends whenever I want and see what they're doing, and then like now I just use it to promote my reviews on our page. I rarely use my regular page.
Oh, May of 2009.
Whoa, weird,
creepy.
Yeah,
very.
That is like right when I graduated high school. Would have been that month. So,
that was my last year in Maryland.
Okay, so I do remember kind of like I had I had a MySpace like when I was in high school and stuff like that, and like you could decorate your wallpaper and like have a song. I would have like a little scrappy song playing.
So sick, yeah.
Yeah. And
MySpace was tight. Yeah.
I had like Florida Gators like backgrounds and things like that. But I do remember that's like such a time capsule for like 2007.
Yeah. Chris Leak, bro. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Dallas Baker, the touchdown maker. Yeah.
That's what I was going for. But I had a person I dated in high school, and her older sister was like, Facebook is like the grown up MySpace, and I was like, oh man, that's like sounds.
Ooh, that's exactly how I got it pitched to me by somebody in my math class. Yeah.
Yep.
Weird. Yeah, it's like it's like for college kids. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I have college friends,
But I mean, like at the time that she was telling me that would have been like in like probably 2007. I think that's when she graduated.
Oh, it was true.
Like, well, yeah, it actually would have been like, I mean, obviously a lot of users, but like nowhere near what it is now. I mean, it really was like this like young, like hip thing,
Yeah,
I thought it was just a place.
And now it's like moms.
Yeah.
I thought
like
it was
arguing about politics. Yeah, it's horrible.
You just posted like, I went home and had a Go-Gurt, LOL, and then 2 decades later, it's toppling governments.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Not even 2 decades, right? I mean, it affected the 2016 election. That's just 11 years. Like,
just 1 decade.
Popularized. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he had no idea the tool would be built. He has no.
When I get on there now, I'm like, I get a fucking headache because it's like add game, play this game, play this game, and everything's like out of order. 4 days ago, Johnny said Texas A&M sucks. I'm like, what am I looking at? Like,
I cut out everything toxic, and now it's all just like a very tight circle of people who I actually care about their lives, movie-related shit, and then I go on video and I watch stories of people who got cheated on and how they had like vicious revenge stories. That's all I do Facebook for.
Awesome. Specific. I wish, I don't know. I wish I could like actually do that, but I just don't get on there enough. But I wish I would have asked this question at the beginning of the podcast because maybe would have informed, some different, things. But it is so funny that it's been so central to pretty much all of our lives, even if it's like not something we use all the time. It sounds like Connor, you maybe are like more regular user than like Austin and I are. I never get on there, but I like, yeah, it's crazy how long it's been in my life. That's really very weird that it's been in my life for 14 years.
Yeah,
Almost half your life.
I've been using it as a dating app lately. It's there's a Facebook dating segment.
I've noticed that. I've been apparently people have tried to get me to do that. I don't know if Facebook realizes that I'm single, so I just I'm single now. So they just
like, shit. Hey,
yeah.
One of my favorite scenes from the movie is when that happens. When the guy comes up, and is like, "Hey, like Susan from your class?
That was Dustin
Is she dating anybody?
Yeah.
Do you have to know if she's single? Is she interested in?" Nobody walks around with a sign around their neck. And then he runs.
Yeah.
And then he runs home in the snow, like in his flip flops. God, I love that scene so much. That's like such a crucial relationship status. Is like such a crucial thing. Yeah, good stuff. Are you praying when he's like, it's the site's about to go live? Oh man, yeah, God, this movie rules. It's so good. All right, let's go to our last segment. What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
Okay, I have two here. Bear with me. On one of them is really funny, and it's kind of got a backstory, but I'll save that one for last. So the first one is Lore Reviews. This is a two-star review from 2013, 10 years ago, September 19th, almost exactly 2 years ago, or 10 years ago. Weird. Boy, this is an annoying film. I can't stand the lead actor. I hate the character of Mark Zuckerberg. I completely agree with the sentiments of his girlfriend right at the beginning when she refers to him as an asshole. It even makes me want to close down my Facebook account. What's the message here? To be successful, you have to be obnoxious, arrogant, and condescending?
Yeah. I mean,
whatever. Yeah, some of the negative reviews on here are hilarious. Okay, second review. I'm gonna read it first, and let me explain who it's by and like what the noise is here. This is a half star review from a few years ago. Avoid this movie. There are historical inaccuracies all the way through. It's well made, but this apparently is loosely based on The Accidental Billionaires, which the bits Fincher and Sorkin took are widely debunked. It showcases Fincher doesn't care for history, Mark Zuckerberg, and then he has a total obsession with artistic interpretation. Movies should not have any artistic freedom of history and should completely follow everything the way that really happened. Erica Albrecht isn't even a real fucking person. How dare you manipulate your audience like that, David Fincher? Keeps going. You should be ashamed of yourself. To make things even worse, Fincher's already foreshadowed his knack to make history one-sided with Zodiac, as it heavily leans towards Arthur Lee Allen as the prime suspect, which later evidence debunks. Debunks is always in all caps, by the way. Everyone involved with this should be ashamed of themselves. By the way, I haven't read anything about the history of these subjects myself. Hold on. I've only heard people say they're debunked, and I have never given the time to read into all the angles of these histories myself. Fuck this movie and all the historical movies that take liberties to the true events. Yeah. Time to lower every biopic ever made to half a star. All right. Before you rip him apart. It's fake. This is one of my favorite letterbox follows. It's the homeless rock star of Palo Alto, and their profile picture is Sean Parker. And listen to this. Their rating system for movies. 1 equals Eduardo Saverin. 2 to 3, private detectives who follow you day and night. 4, life in the NFL. 5 and 6, $1 million. 7, interns. 8 and 9, Napster. 10, $1 billion. So this is a troll. This is a person who quite frankly loves the Social Network, but decided to make a they have multiple reviews of Social Network, and I guess they got tired of the people who were like, this movie's not even accurate. They just decided to take it to the next level. I thought it was fucking hilarious because I caught onto it pretty quick because the debunked is all in all caps.
I love how often he uses that. That's so funny.
Yeah, debunks. it's so funny. Great follow. If you're on Letterboxd, definitely follow the homeless rock star of Palo Alto patron account. Great stuff. Like excellent stuff. Very funny. I had to take that, even though it's not like technically a negative review. I just think that's so awesome that someone out there, their whole rating system is based off of The Social Network. So good stuff.
Jesus, I was ready to rip that guy to shreds.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this guy an idiot? Yeah, what is he talking
Well,
about?
some people in the comments don't get it.
Mm.
And they're like, fuck you, man. This is one of the best movies of the 2010s. And he's like, I know, right? Like they just don't they don't read his other stuff. They don't see his profile picture is Sean Parker, like is Justin Timberlake as Sean Parker. Yeah. And they're like their what do you call that other photo? Like the cover photo is from Social Network. So it's like clearly they're a fan. Like, oh god, great stuff. But yeah, most of the negative reviews are pretty similar to that first one where it's just kind of like, yeah, like I don't know, this is annoying. I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg. It's like, well, it's kind of the point, It's just a lot of that kind of stuff. Or like Fincher's overrated, Mostly the same stuff. But 4.0 is pretty good. A lot of positive reviews. Most of these movies that we've done at the latter stages of this these lists that we made are all pretty high. So, you're going to see a lot of 4 or 5 star reviews on there.
True. Well, good. Yeah. That first review, I was starting to think like, yeah, I kind of get that, but
yeah, it's fair, It's not like it's like whatever.
But I don't condemn the movie.
It makes me want to delete my Facebook too sometimes. So like I'm with you there. Just I wouldn't give it 2 stars. I give it 5.
Yeah, it's a 4 for me.
A 4 for Connor, 5 for Adam, I assume, and 5 for myself.
Well, yeah.
What do you need? What do you need to get that 4.5 star rating there, Connor?
I don't like Jesse Eisenberg.
What's holding it back? Oh, that whole start. Yeah, it's for Jesse. It's okay. It's okay. I have people I don't like either that are. We've had some of these people before where I'm like, I don't get it, but I understand. He is. Are you not a Michael Cera guy either?
No, we had a whole episode about that.
That's right. Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure that's you. That's like, you like don't like Michael Cera. Oh yeah, Scott Pilgrim. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a fan of nebbishy dudes.
I don't like people who are in fiction or in my life who are just like neurotic and obnoxious for the sake of being neurotic and obnoxious. I find that whole personality type incredibly insufferable.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I do. It's different when it's Larry.
Hey,
I feel like there's a method to his madness. Sometimes he makes
Larry
sense.
David could fit in that category for sure.
But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I understand where he's coming from sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe it's everyone around him who's crazy.
Yeah, and he's got the show to like really explain himself, like for like episodes upon episodes to be like, right? You're with me, right? He has that on his side. Yeah, and I definitely agree with him like 75% of the time. So I don't like the way he goes about it, but Larry's great. All right, this has been a nice long one. Very fun. The Fincher draft was an absolute blast. Talking about Social Network for a while is an absolute blast. But let's get out of here. Thank you guys for listening. If you like what we're doing, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like Connor said, at Filmgazm. Check out filmgazm.com for trailers, reviews. Go to Letterboxd. Follow Connor95, and you can find pretty much the rest of the Filmgazm team on his followers and following. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, feel free to click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on support this podcast. Any amount of donations will go right back into the show. Thank you for all you can give. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions to the show, especially Cooley Cow and that awesome theme music. Most of all, thank you guys for listening. Keep watching movies. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye.